If you've ever woken up and had the realization, oh my, it is 1 week until Christmas. Go ahead and hit that like and subscribe button, folks, and welcome back to another episode of Benzinga's Pre-Market Playbook. Today is going to be the Thursday, December 18th edition. We're waiting for some CPI data. We actually have a lot of news by comparison. We'll see how much of it actually moves things, but I got a couple of tongue-in-cheek and kind of funny stories here for you today. So excited to break it all down. Excited to see what the CPI print is. We're going to have another great Thursday here. Benzinga's Pre-Market Playbook, the Thursday edition for December 18th, 2025, begins right now. Good morning and welcome back, folks. I hope that you all had a wonderful rest of your Wednesday or hump day or middle of the week or whatever it is that you call it. Hopefully it was great for you. Hopefully you're ready to go here today. I'm excited to be back. I'm excited we are one day closer to the weekend and the Christmas holiday. We're going to trade the market here today. We're going to go over the news. We're going to find setups and we are going to make it happen. Excuse me. Sorry about that. I'm really excited this morning for some reason. Richard Judge is first here today. Good morning, Judge. Great to see you again. Keep blasting that positivity into the universe. We need as much as we can get, brother. Good to see you. Good morning. Brian, good morning. Who's ready for some sticky inflation data? Not me. Would like to see some better inflation data, and I think the market would like to see that too, Brian. Peter, good morning. Welcome back. Zach McCracken, welcome back. Big Hurt. Brent, good morning. Good to see you again. Brian says, I'm dollar cost averaging existing positions. I'm a little spooked by opening anything substantial, especially in tech. I had mentioned earlier in the chat there, yeah, Oracle really did kind of spook the market there, so I totally get it. But I will say it. There's going to be another up move in some of these names. And as far as Oracle goes, I feel like when that turns, so too are some of the things that turned down when this sell-off started. So I think there's actually going to be opportunity there. Really, the question is going to be when, right? When is the right time to buy? We try to figure that out all the time. Robert, good morning. Kevin, good morning. Silly, good morning. Big Dave, good morning. Good to see you again. Yes, that girl, good morning. Sun-kissed Yogi, good morning. Crimp Biscuit, good morning. Buffalo by Bicycle, good morning. Graph, good morning. EKS, good morning. Oh, EKS, that's going to be fun. Whis, good morning. It's good to see you again, and always, buddy. Super Sam, good morning. Neville, good morning. Durkus, Rooster, and H&H Tactical, good morning. I read the next quote. Good morning. Positive Trader, Guten Morgen. It's that threw me off there, but good morning. Welcome back. Dara, good morning. Welcome back. Matthew, good morning. Welcome back. Marianetta, good morning. Can't believe I slept on Benzinga for so long. Me too, but you know what? The good thing, I haven't figured out how to invent a time machine. If you have, let me know, because there's some things I'd like to do. But otherwise, you made the right decision going forward, and that's really all you can do, right? Learn from the past and then put one foot in front of another. I beg your pardon. We're glad to have you here. Bernhard, good morning. Welcome back. Day Trader, good morning. Welcome back. James, good morning. Welcome back. Not Christmas yet, but boy, we're getting excited. Victor, good morning. It's good to see you again. Ed, good morning. Welcome back. Scarlett, Born to be Free. Captain Cloudy, welcome back. Johnny, Work Life, and Itty P Code. Good morning. Welcome back. Carlos, good morning. It's good to see you again. Navy Dave, good morning. Nice to see you again. Cam, good morning. Jean, Jean, good morning. All right, folks, we're going to have a good day. I got a good feeling about today. Positive vibes only, please. Let's get rolling. Let's start with our stock market today. All right, green arrows across the board following the sell-off yesterday. S&P futures up by 0.4 or 0.4% here today. Dow futures up by 0.17%, and the Nasdaq leading the way higher at 0.77%. Let's take a look at some cues from last session. On Wednesday, information technology, consumer discretionary, and communication services were in the green, while others saw declines, which was led by energy, healthcare, real estate, and financials. U.S. stock futures are inching higher on Thursday ahead of after the markets ended lower on Wednesday, I beg your pardon, amid growing concerns regarding a hiring recession following the November jobs report, which was released on Tuesday. Traders and investors will be looking forward to the November Consumer Price Index, which is due later today, as a key inflation read that could provide the much-needed catalyst for markets to set the tone for the final few trading days of the year. Meanwhile, the 10-year Treasury bond yielded 4.13%, and the 2-year bond was at 3.46%. Now, we have several stocks in focus here for you today. The first one is going to be Accenture, ticker ACN. Accenture are down 0.27% overnight. Looking at the chart now, closed at 273.74, currently sitting at 265.98. It's actually down more than that now. Ahead of the company's fiscal first quarter results before the market opens on Thursday. So we actually have those results now. The estimate was 373 on the EPS. The actual was 394, so we got a beat there. Let me actually pull it up in Pro, and I'll get you those sales numbers. But looks like a mixed report there for Accenture. It did initially trade higher before reversing and going lower. I think that conference call is actually ongoing right now. The next stock on our list is going to be Micron, and that's probably why we're seeing some green arrows here today. Semiconductor giant Micron, ticker MU, is up 9.61% in the overnight trade. That actually took another leg higher here recently in the pre-market, so it's up more than that now. Following better than expected first quarter performance with a strong outlook for the second quarter. And we'll dive into Micron when we take a look at it in Pro here. It was definitely the guide that really caused us to trade higher. I mean, it was a good earnings beat on the top and the bottom line, but really the guide is what did it. And this has been a common theme, what we've been talking about recently. Let me go ahead and actually pull this up here real quick because it's worth mentioning. So the EPS beat 478, beat the estimate of 395. Sales of 13.64 billion beat the estimate of 12.8 billion. That was just for the last quarter. Q2 sales, the estimate was 14.16 billion. They guided to 18.3 to 19.1. So just a massive guide higher, and that's why we're seeing Micron trade so well here this morning. That stock is definitely going to be one of the stocks in focus. FedEx is our next stock on that list. That's ticker FDX. It's down 0.07%, basically unchanged in the pre-market ahead of the company's fiscal second quarter results after the market closed on Thursday. So we're going to get FedEx tonight. Analysts expect the company to post $4.10 per share on revenue of $22.79 billion. The next stock on our list here is furniture company MillerKnoll. We don't really ever talk about this one, so it's exciting that it's on the list here. Ticker is MLKN, and it was up 7.02% following the company's better than expected second quarter performance and robust guidance for the current quarter. The last stock on our list is going to be Nike, ticker NKE. Shares were up 0.44% overnight ahead of the company's fiscal second quarter results after the market closed on Thursday. Leading analysts expect the company to post 38 cents per share in earnings on revenue of $12.22 billion. All right, now I do want to go to the SPY chart here, so let me cue that up. But I also want to very quickly take a look at the morning report, courtesy of Benzinga Pro. There are a couple of things here that are of note. First of all, we had Medline, MDLN, the IPO yesterday. That actually did pretty well, pretty much traded up all day. It's down a little bit here in the pre-market, but we'll see how that trades here today. What I really wanted to cover in here, a couple of things. Number one, we got a couple of upgrades or initiations here. Micron getting an overweight from Morgan Stanley and a $350 price target. Folks, Micron is $256 in the pre-market here today. So remember, these 12 to 18-month targets, this is telling you that Morgan Stanley sees $100 of upside from here. SPIR, I feel like, is a stock that we've traded here a number of times before. This was given a buy rating by Stifel with a $14 price target. That's notable because it's a 2x from where it's at now at $767. LAES, also one of the movers that we commonly talk about here. That got an overweight rating from Cantor Fitzgerald and a $7 price target. That's $3 away from its current price of $4. And GEV, which we had talked about. I know I talked about this being a floating island trade. It really kind of invalidated the floating island formation. Does look like it's hanging in there. Jefferies defending with a buy rating here and an 815 price target. GEV up 4.2% here today. Remember, it was that 680 level that we really didn't want it to break. It got pounded yesterday, but it looks like it's going to recover here. I actually broke my rules and held on to this trade, largely because this is one that we've talked about so much, and there's still some like data center and AI adjacent trade involved in that. So hope this doesn't cause me massive great pain in the future. We'll see if this can recover here, but still kind of hanging on to that definitely until next year. Now, on the downgrade side, we got a couple. We obviously got Lennar downgraded here. Bank of America and Evercore both going to underperform and lowering the price target, 95 and 92 respectively. But the big one on this list is PayPal. Morgan Stanley going to underweight on PayPal here with a $51 target. The reason I'm bringing this up is because we've talked about PayPal a lot recently. There are a lot of folks here that want to take a long on it, including myself, just because I use the product. The stock really has been poor. And it continues to not trade all that well. Today, catching a downgrade here from Morgan Stanley. It was actually down in the pre-market. It still is. It is up off the lows slightly. 58.60 was your low print. It's currently at 59.36. So it is up off the lows. But man, PayPal, we just cannot get this stock to give us a good upside move. And if it does move to the upside, it seems to rarely hold it. So just kind of keep that in mind here. Let that shake out. I don't really think there's any rush to necessarily buy PayPal. Now, getting back to the SPY chart, which we always do, we are still, see where we close here today, but we are still under the trend line here. Yesterday's sell-off actually did some damage, some significant damage based on the daily chart here. We did push down from the trend line, so it looks like the trend line is intact. We also lost the 20-day, we lost the 50-day, and we lost the 673 previous all-time high level that acted as support. We went right back into that range. Now today, we're actually trading up here. We're at 674.35, so we're back above some of these levels. We're back above the 673 previous all-time high level. Really, what comes next here in 50 cents is a test of the 50-day moving average. That value is at 674.86. And then at 678.25 is that 20-day. So our two upside key level targets here are going to be 674.86 and 678.23 or 678.25. So we'll see if SPY can hang on to its gains. I would imagine when we get the CPI print here, that's going to impact everything. We'll see if it's got a positive or a negative effect. In the meantime, let's go ahead and take a look at some insights from analysts while we await that print. Amid growing concerns of an AI bubble in stocks, right, Bri? Right, Bri? Amid a growing concern of a bubble in AI stocks, Ryan Dietrich, the chief market strategist at the Carson Group, said that any signs of trouble should first be visible in the credit markets, while noting that high-yield corporate bonds were, quote, barely red, end quote, on Wednesday, and are less than 1% from their all-time highs. According to Dietrich, quote, if there was really a monster under the bed, we'd see it in credit, end quote. This comes despite companies such as Oracle having witnessed a significant widening in their credit default swap spreads due to increasing AI-related borrowing. Now, for anyone that wants this and Ryan Dietrich's tweet and his infographic, that link is in the chat for you here today. All right, let's keep rolling through some of the news here. First one's going to be on Lululemon. And I got to be honest with you, I don't know if it was wisdom razzing me. I don't know if it was just the holiday season taking my attention away from things. But good gosh, we did one trade on this earlier when it was trying to break out of this kind of sideways area. Made a little bit on it, really wasn't a whole lot, didn't feel great about it, and then missed the move higher here. Now we're even higher. So 222 is going to be the current price here, 222.50. We have a target of the 200-day here at 228.21. We have a nice move off of the sideways area that we really have firmed up some support down here at 160. We also closed the gap up to 200, which we had talked about a number of times. And did anyone take Anne Marie's trade on Lululemon? Because that thing was an absolute banger of a trade. Now we actually have some more news here on Lulu. What's going on? Elliott Management takes a $1 billion stake in Lululemon and proposes former Ralph Lauren executive as the new CEO. Elliott is collaborating with seasoned retail executive Jane Nielsen, a former CFO and COO at Ralph Lauren, who is being considered as a potential CEO for Lululemon. That was reported by the Wall Street Journal on Wednesday. Lululemon and Elliott did not immediately respond to our request for comment, but as always, we will update it if we get it. Elliott would now be one of the largest investors in the company, which has a market value of about $25 billion. Nielsen, also a former finance chief at the handbag maker Coach, joined Ralph Lauren in 2016 and departed in March. She contributed to enhancing the fashion label's e-commerce and direct-to-consumer performance. Lululemon recently announced the resignation of CEO Calvin McDonald in January after 7 years in the role without naming a successor. The company is under pressure to rectify various issues from product quality to its brand image. Founder and largest shareholder Chip Wilson also had urged the board to urgently appoint a new CEO, criticizing it for failing to plan effectively for the company's future and succession. Elliott, the biggest activist investor, is known for taking sizable stakes and pressuring companies to boost shareholder value through cost cuts, board changes, and strategic shifts. Its campaigns have targeted firms such as Pepsi, Phillips 66, and BP. Lululemon's recent performance has been a mix of highs and lows. Despite sluggish North American sales, the company reported a strong Q3 earnings beat and raised its full-year outlook. This was attributed to robust international sales, which surged by 33%. However, the company has faced criticism from straying from its yoga-inspired roots, which has led to a decline in comparable sales. This shift in product design has been a point of concern for analysts who have warned it could pose risk to the company's business. Despite these challenges, Lululemon has been identified as a high-conviction contrarian pick. Big Short investor Michael Burry, who views the 2025 sell-off as window dressing, has expressed confidence in Lululemon's potential for a significant surge in upcoming years. Part of me wonders if Michael Burry wears Lululemon. Maybe he's a fan. Maybe he knows how comfortable and great they are. Maybe that's why he's saying it. All right, another story here. Google is going to enlist Meta to cut its NVIDIA reliance. So I know we've talked about a lot of these tech companies working with each other, funding each other, the whole circular thing. Now it looks like Alphabet and Google is stepping up its push to reshape the competitive dynamics of the AI chip market as demand for large-scale AI computing continues to surge. Google is teaming up more closely with Meta as it looks to rely less on NVIDIA for powering artificial intelligence. The company is working on software changes that make its own chips easier to use with PyTorch, the tool most AI developers already rely on. That was from a Reuters report. Meta plays a central role in this effort. As a major backer of the AI tools developers use, Meta is collaborating with Google and gaining greater access to Google's chip infrastructure. Google plans to use this setup both for its own AI services and for cloud customers. The move adds pressure to NVIDIA as competition in AI hardware intensifies. NVIDIA recently said its widely discussed $100 billion potential deal with OpenAI remains non-binding and emphasized that sales outlook do not depend on that agreement. The company continues to point to the strength in its full AI stack as its core advantage. NVIDIA became the first company to top the $4.5 trillion market cap in October of 2025, topping the likes of Apple, Google, and Microsoft. Meanwhile, Jim Cramer said Broadcom stands to benefit the most from any potential deal between Alphabet and Meta, pointing to CEO Hock Tan's influence as a key advantage. Cramer also highlighted Tan's role in Broadcom, growing challenge to NVIDIA and AI hardware. Under Tan, Broadcom has expanded its presence in custom AI chips and high-end networking. Really quickly, unrelated to this story, but as an aside, producer told me that yesterday, Jim Cramer, in his lightning round of Mad Money, someone called in and said, "What do you think of Ondas?" And it was a hard pass. So you take that for whatever it's worth. Are you inverse Cramer? Are you with Cramer? Hard pass on Ondas is what he said. All right. More AI news here to get through. Dell reportedly agreed to acquire Israel-based Dataloop AI on Wednesday in an all-cash transaction valued at $120 million. It's a drop in the bucket for Dell. The strategic deal deepens the company's push into artificial intelligence and building end-to-end AI infrastructure offerings for enterprise customers. Founded in 2017, Dataloop offers a platform that manages, labels, and processes unstructured data for AI model training. Its technology enables organizations to streamline complex data workflows and create scalable, organized data sets, which are essential for large-scale AI models. By the end of last year, the company had served several clients across various sectors, including Vimeo, Rentokil, UV, Taranis, Pixelot, Syngenta, Brunswick, and other significant global automakers, and employed over 80 people. For Dell, incorporating Dataloop's capabilities enhances its AI tool set and strengthens its data management infrastructure, a key foundation for enterprise AI initiatives. Last month, Dell stated its outlook for the fourth quarter revenue fell between $31 billion and $32 billion, ahead of analyst expectations, and EPS of $3.50. Tried to hit mute, hit one up, then you heard me cough anyway. Yeah, I'll just quit while I'm behind. The company also raised its full-year EPS from $9.55 per share to $9.92 per share. In November, the company reported third-quarter earnings that exceeded expectations. It raised its full-year forecast, driven by surging demand for AI servers and improved profitability in its infrastructure division. Goldman Sachs expects Dell's AI-driven momentum to continue in 2026, supported by a continued traditional server refresh, and a growing mix of Dell IP storage offerings, all contributing to sustained margin expansion. We'll see if that benefits Dell, how much it benefits Dell, and where Dell goes from here. Okay, couple more Tesla stories. Tesla, of course, recently making all-time highs, pulled back from some of those, but let's cover some of these real quick. You know what? Let's actually go to the chart first. We'll break up some of the news here with a chart on Tesla. Here's what it looks like. We did push right to all. How many times have we seen this before? Stock pushes to highs, whether it's all-time highs or intraday highs, and then immediately pulls back. That's what we're looking at here. And in fact, it looked like Tesla might be looking to kind of fill this gap down to 458. Today, though, Tesla higher here by about 1.5%. We'll see if it makes its way back towards that 490-ish. I know that there are still option traders, based on the unusual option flow from this week. There are still option traders that think this might go 515 based on some of those aggressive sweeps in the option market. We also had the rumor that Tesla holders will have the ability to buy SpaceX pre-IPO. Nobody knows if that's true, but if that is the case, I could see people buying Tesla for that very reason. We have some other news with Tesla. They face a license suspension in California over the full self-driving claims, as Ross Gerber says, quote, "The days are over," end quote. Gene Munster, calls the ruling, quote, "absurd," end quote. It wouldn't be the first time. As a court in California announced the suspension of Tesla's license to sell vehicles in the state for 30 days over the full self-driving technology's misleading claims lawsuit, top analysts have shared their take on the matter. The Elon Musk-led EV giant faces suspension if it fails to change its policies within 90 days. Now, Ross Gerber, in a post on social media on X, he shared his thoughts following the court ruling. The days of Tesla calling something full self-driving that doesn't fully drive itself are over in California. Gerber had been a vocal critic of the technology, but in recent times has hailed the improvements made by the automaker with the V14 update. It is also worth noting that despite the bearish stance on Tesla, Gerber has confirmed that he still has a position. Gene Munster thinks the decision is absurd. Also taking to the social media platform X on Wednesday, Deepwater Asset Management's Gene Munster shared that the court ruling, which ordered Tesla to rebrand the autopilot feature, is absurd because when you turn on autopilot or full self-driving, you get a message that says, quote, "Keep your eyes on the road. Be attentive at all times," end quote. Munster also outlined that the previous message urged drivers to keep their hands on the steering wheel always. Quote, "I bet Elon Musk renames the full self-driving to California driver must remain fully attentive and in control at all times, cruise control, end quote. First of all, I think Gene's exactly right. And I would love for that to end up being the case here. That'd be a laugh. Munster had earlier shared his predictions for 2026 in the tech industry, highlighting that Tesla would expand driverless robotaxi operations in multiple cities next year. Currently, the company is carrying out testing for driverless robotaxis in Austin in line with CEO's Musk's end of the year timeline. The automaker recently recorded a surge in stock value, which led Tesla to further bolstering its position as the most valuable automaker on the planet, surpassing $1.5 trillion, which puts it well ahead of rivals, including Toyota, as well as Chinese companies like BYD and Xiaomi. Tesla, of course, scores very well on momentum and quality. Now we have another story here related to Tesla. This one I think is a little bit cooler, to be quite honest. You guys know my bias on full self-driving. It's not for me. I'm a car guy. It's not for me. So that's probably why I think this is cooler. Tesla could offer Starlink capabilities in the near future, according to a recent SEC filing. Radio frequency transparent material in the roof assembly, the patent called Vehicle Roof Assembly with Radio Frequency Transparent Material, published on December 4th, describes a vehicle roof assembly that features a radio frequency transparent polymers like polycarbonate and, let's try to get this one here, acrylonitrile, ASA for short. The filing also details that regular glass and metal roofs and vehicles often block satellite signals, which is why the company came up with a patent to feature RF transparent materials, which could help integrate antenna directly into the roof, which could help facilitate communications with satellites and other connected tech. While there's no mention of SpaceX satellite internet service Starlink in the filing, the technology could help Tesla offer Starlink connectivity within its vehicles, helping it stay connected and online in areas that have relatively poor cell and 5G connectivity. The news comes as Starlink could look at a possible cell carrier future. A latest trademark filing showcased that the trademark Starlink Mobile, which in the filing describes would be used for two-way real-time transmission of voice, audio, video, and data by means of wireless telecommunication devices. SpaceX has also earlier signed a deal with T-Mobile to offer direct-to-cell technology to the carrier's subscribers and a deal with the Ukrainian telecom giant Kyivstar Group. Meanwhile, Tesla is facing a sales license suspension in California. We already talked about that. That was just kind of a carryover here. So I have to know, I can't remember how many of you actually drive Teslas. I think we've got more in the after-hour program than we do here. But nonetheless, let me know if you think that this is a needle mover for anybody. Having Starlink in the car seems cool to me, especially for the passengers, but I'm sure there's also other applications there, like mentioned here in the article, where if you're in a very poor cell connectivity area, you can still get your data, which is going to be required, frankly, for autonomous driving, no matter where you go. So this kind of makes sense. These two things definitely seem to synergize for me a little bit. I do think it's cool that you can have Starlink in the car. We'll see if this is actually a needle mover. Okay. Now the next story here. This one's a bit wild. All right. This one's a bit wild. So we're going to take it with a grain of salt. We're going to take this one with a grain of salt. Brian Johnson says human immortality could be possible by 2039 thanks to the AI boom. He called it, quote, an absolutely insane moment. So before I dive into this, producer, maybe we could just make a flash poll or whatever they're called. Is immortality attractive to you? Would you like to be able to live, I guess, be immortal, or would you like to be able to live considerably longer? I kind of want to get an idea there from the group. Let me know if this is appealing to you or not. Looks like we got our data out. So before I dive into the story, let's go back to Pro and take a look at what's going on. We'll start here with the chart. Then I'll go ahead and get that data red here for you. Here's what it looks like. So it looks like initial pop on the data is higher. We'll see if it holds. I don't think it's a guarantee that this holds here. Let's see what the news actually is. See what the data print actually is, and beg your pardon. U.S. CPI year over year for November, 2.7% versus the 3.1% estimate. Hey, Brian, how's that sticky inflation going for you, boss? How's that print going for you? How's that treating you? U.S. initial jobless claims, 224,000 versus the 224,000 estimate. That's right in line. U.S. core CPI year over year for November, 2.6 versus the 3% estimate. So there you go. So a pop here initially. Again, good that we're popping, especially for any of you that are long bias. I would still say remain nimble today. I don't necessarily think it's a guarantee that we just kind of rage today. We'll see what the volume looks like, but right here on the surface, looks pretty good. Stock is popping here. Okay, good stuff. There we go. Bri, let me know what you think. Let me know what you think, Bri. Bears have feelings too. That's true. And I need to be more considerate of that. Thank you, producer, for putting the poll live. Please vote in that. I'd be curious. Real quick here, Kanan P. I love to live as long as possible without extension. I probably sign a do not resuscitate document or a living trust. So I'm probably in the exact same group as you. I definitely do not want to be immortal. That is not something that I look forward to. Just from living through my life, I've just kind of come to the realization that when it's my time, it's my time. And that then motivates me to maximize every single minute that I have and try to focus on things that are positive. So this is actually one of the reasons why I try to be positive as much as I can with whatever I do. It kind of all goes back to this. Our time is all finite on this planet. We only get one chance at this, and it doesn't make sense to me to be miserable and down all of the time. Just my own personal opinion. Y'all are obviously entitled to your own. But nonetheless, there's a huge cohort of people that want to live longer and longer and longer. And believe me, I get it. If you have a great life and a wonderful family and all of these things that you wake up and provide for and are motivated by, I totally get it. And it's not my place to judge. I think that this is actually going to kind of be a bigger theme. I'm not sure I agree with any of these fantastical predictions about immortality and stuff like that. But I think that this is actually a decent theme that could kind of rear its head and then take hold at some point. Let me just go through the story here. You don't need enough of my thoughts on this whole thing. Tech entrepreneur Brian Johnson says rapid advances in artificial intelligence and biotechnology could make human immortality achievable within 14 years, even as he warns the science still carries serious and unresolved risks. Yeah, you don't say. You don't say. Johnson, the Silicon Valley millionaire behind Braintree, Kernel, and Blueprint, said on social media that the long-sought goal of ending human aging is now within reach. Quote, "The search for the fountain of youth is the oldest story ever told." He went on to say, "For the first time in history of life on Earth, in just the past 24 months, the window has opened for a conscious being to realistically strive for that goal." End quote. The 48-year-old said that his 2039 timeline is based on emerging therapies that could reverse biological aging by decades, with AI accelerating discovery at an unprecedented pace. He describes the moment as absolutely insane, calling immortality a reasonable target for the first time in human history. I'll be honest, this entire story is just so out there for me. Call me a skeptic. Call me a skeptic. I know I just talked about being positive. I'm positively skeptical on this one. Johnson cautioned that the current longevity therapies are far from safe. First, we need to fix some of the buggy issues, he said, including treatments that mistakenly cause cancer. Yeah, you better fix the mistakenly caused cancer thing. That's probably a priority that we should focus on here. He acknowledged his team does not yet know how immortality will be achieved, although he has a timeline for it. pointing instead to research on slow-aging species such as jellyfish and lobsters. Quote, we need to port the software to humans, end quote. I mean, I wish it was that easy. Has anyone in here that has a tech background, have you guys ever ported anything from one platform to another by chance? Not even talking about like longevity and health and all that stuff. I mean, even something simple. Have you ported a game from PC to PlayStation or anything? Have you done any of that? It seems like you're glossing over quite a lot of complicated problems with that statement. Just my 2 cents there. To reduce risk, Johnson said he is growing lab-based replicas of his own tissue to test drugs before using them himself. Quote, yes, we'll make mistakes. Hopefully they won't be fatal. Like I said, if you want to go through any of this, I'll be honest with you, this picture series down here, I'm not trying to criticize the dude, kind of looks a little creepy to me. And maybe I'm in the minority on that. For any of you that are interested in this at all, we can go ahead and I threw the link there in the chat. Ed says, can we please colonize Mars first? Oh, chat, just continuing your streak of not letting anybody down. It's just, you guys are the absolute best. Sorry, let me get back down here and finish this off. In August, Johnson, who spends $2 million annually on anti-aging treatments, $2 million. How many of you would like to, what would you do with your life if you had an extra $2 million a year? Would you spend it on anti-aging? He dismissed claims that Novo Nordisk diabetes drug Ozempic reverses biological aging. He said, data is not there yet to call Ozempic as anti-aging therapy, end quote, and highlighted limitations in a small 32-week trial of 84 HIV patients. He argues that the fat loss likely reflected relief from drug-induced metabolic issues rather than true anti-aging effects. 3D says Frankenstein style. Envious says just buy Bitcoin. Oh, okay. All right. How much time do I got here? Oh, we are so golden on time. I was worried because I saw a lot of this news here, and I was like, man, I want to cover a lot of this stuff here today. I wonder if we're going to have enough time. You know what, though? This actually, let me go back to Pro. Oh, I was on Pro the whole time? Was I on Pro the whole time? I'm dumb. All right, let me draw your attention to something that actually had news yesterday. We just talked about Brian Johnson, the anti-aging, the immortality thing. Take that with a grain of salt. Here is a company, no connection to Brian Johnson as far as I'm aware. But here is a company that is actually trying to extend lifespans. This is Telomere. We've talked about this before. We've actually seen this stock move on news before. The reason that I'm highlighting it today in conjunction with the Brian Johnson story is that we actually had news yesterday. We discussed this a little bit on Happy Hour yesterday. Telomere Pharmaceuticals announces results from good laboratory practice studies for Telomere 1. That's its drug that's trying to extend lifespans. Says Telomere 1 was generally well tolerated with no treatment-related adverse or dose-limiting toxicities observed. Observed findings were limited, reversible, and considered non-adverse. So it also has a PR here this morning. Telomere Pharmaceuticals reports favorable IND-enabling GLP safety results for Telomere 1, supporting its first in-human clinical development. Now, what we've talked a lot about here with Telomere is the IND submission. They actually delayed that. In the Form 8 here, they mentioned, I don't have exactly where it is in this Form 8, but they actually pushed this out. Here we go. Here's the line. I found it. I can't believe that. Based on current expectations and subject to regulatory review and other factors, the company will currently anticipates submitting its IND, which stands for Investigational New Drug, application in the first quarter of 2026 and initiating first in-human clinical studies in the first half of 2026. The reason that this is important is because when 13 and I and the group have been talking about Telomere, the deadline that they had for that IND submission was the end of this year. Looking down at the calendar, it's December 18th. That had to be coming soon. Last night, they're telling you they're now kicking it out to the first quarter of 2026, and then they are looking to start those trials there in the first half of 2026. So this is not. I say all that to say we've got some news here on Telomere. The stock initially traded up, kind of sold it back. What I will say here is this is not the piece of news that we've kind of been waiting for. Also, further to note here, this is a small position. This is a highly speculative position. No guarantee that this is going to work. Hold it in small size. I basically, on days where this stock gets pounded, I add 100 shares at a time. And I work that up, and eventually I'll have hopefully a low-cost position. And one day, maybe in the first quarter or the first half of 2026, we'll be surprised with a run. But saw that news here this morning. Definitely want to connect it to a stock that we have taken a look at a number of times before. I don't think we're in any rush here on Telomere. Okay, next story here. Let's see. We're going 840. We are still doing good. S&P futures popping to the highs, still popping here. ES up 0.78%. Who was that was talking about the green day earlier? You might have the call of the day so far. Instacart, shares of Instacart, ticker CART, declined 6.64% in pre-market trading on Thursday after a report that the Federal Trade Commission is launching a probe into its AI-based pricing tools. AI-based pricing tools. The FTC has issued a civil investigative demand to Instacart requesting information about its Eversight pricing tool. That was, again, reported by Reuters. The company did not immediately respond. The tool helps retailers test pricing strategies to understand shopper responses, with grocers like the tool seeing 1% to 3% revenue growth, according to the company. Do you really need a tool? If you increase the price of the food, the customer or the shopper's response is going to be, damn, that costs more. Maybe I'll even buy something else. Did you really need an AI tool for that? I don't know. The tool is driven by artificial intelligence and has raised concerns after a study revealed that different shoppers were being charged varying prices on the same items. Oh, that's fun. That's something else right there. A study by Groundwork Collaborative, consumer reports involving 437 shoppers across 4 cities, found a significant disparity in the prices for the same items at the same stores, with shoppers paying up to 23% more than others for identical items. So the one thing that I've said here about first of all, I know we've already got a flash pull up. I've had too much coffee and my brain's going a million miles a minute right now. I'm sorry about that. So I don't think we can do a poll here. How many of you folks use things like Instacart, DoorDash, and Uber Eats? And I would say instead then, or in addition to that, how often do you use this? Because to me, it just seems like it's kind of a waste. Like, I understand the convenience angle. I understand maybe you've got something going on in real life and it's just easier to pay a little bit more and have something delivered to you. I totally get it. I've done it before myself. Or when I've not been feeling well, I've done it before myself. But it just seems to me that this is an unnecessary expense that really doesn't need to get taken. And now we're finding out that some mysterious black box AI tool is upcharging people for the same items from the same store for seemingly no reason other than to test the shopper response. There's nothing good about this, in my opinion. I again, trying to be positive all the time. To me, it doesn't seem like there's anything good to this. It really doesn't. Big B says, yeah, they call that a test. LOL. Tenzin says, I use it every day. Graph says, hell no. Wiz says, maybe twice a month. Day Trader says, I've used those services exactly 0 times. I'll be honest with you. I wish I could say that, Day Trader. If I had truth serum right now and I had to be completely honest, I wish that I could say that I've used it exactly 0 times, but that wouldn't be true. I have used it, and in those times, I've been like, yeah, this is nice. And then about 15 minutes later, I'm like, I paid more for that than I should have. Let's see what else. I love this. I want to get the customer. I want to get the group's reaction to this. Crimp Biscuit says, don't use any of it. Occasionally Walmart delivery. Cam says, I've used Instacart 1 time. Tenzin says he was born in a restaurant. I don't know what that means, but hopefully it was a good restaurant. Day Trader says, I feel dumb using the delivery feature in any app. You're not dumb though. The Veggie Girl says, I never have, but I'm in the country and it would be too expensive. Okay, so you live in a rural area and basically like the delivery fee would just be so exorbitant that it's not even an option for you. It sounds like that makes a lot of sense too. James says, I refuse to use any of them. My little bro working 7/12s does though. Okay, so he works 12-hour shifts 7 days a week. So I got to imagine that he's got a pretty important job. That's like one of those situations where I understand it. Like sometimes you just want to eat something specific. And if you have a 7/12, I mean, you're working 12 hours a day, 7 days a week. That is a substantial amount of your time. I think I totally get it in that regard. Omerica says, I never use the services. Neville says never. Just some guy says, I don't use much of those anymore. I used to live in a place that had more interesting food choices and DoorDash was more tempting because I could get good sushi delivered. Yo, maybe this is an unpopular opinion. Is sushi something that can even be delivered? I feel like with sushi, for when you get it, like that's when it's absolutely at its best. And the more it sits around, even if it's in a container, I don't know. To me, that's one of the foods that I just would not even have delivered to begin with. Graf says it's not worth it. I don't understand why people use it. Cam says I spent $50 on DoorDash on a McDonald's meal, and then I was sad. H&H Tactical said I used to use Instacart until they started making ridiculous replacements, like when I ordered Midol and they replaced it with a UTI medication. Oh my God. That's the first time I've heard that. That is something else. Boy, these stories were better than I had even hoped for. These are better than I've even. Hakeem, boxes, bullets, soup, and Ferraris. What an eclectic mix that is. Oh, man. Okay. Really good stuff. I appreciate the interaction. Like I said, when I was rolling through some of the news here today, I was like, this is odd. This is odd, but kind of funny. Kind of made me chuckle. Last story here, real quick. Amazon hands AI keys to a 27-year company insider. Amazon is reorganizing parts of its business as several emerging technologies reach a scale that can power a large share of future customer experiences. CEO Andy Jassy said the company is creating a new organization led by longtime executive Peter DeSantis, who will oversee Amazon's most advanced AI models, custom chip development, and quantum computing. The goal is to bring together work on AI software, silicon, and infrastructure under a single leader to accelerate the innovation and long-term impact for our customers. DeSantis, who has spent more than 27 years at Amazon, previously led the launch and expansion of Amazon EC2, helped build core Amazon Web Services, drove the acquisition of Annapurna Labs to develop custom chips, and ran Amazon Web Services infrastructure and utility computing at a global scale. He will report directly to Andy Jassy. As part of the shift, AI researcher Peter Abiel will lead Amazon's frontier model research within the AGI group while continuing his work with the company's robotic efforts. Existing Amazon Web Services utility computing leaders will remain in place with some expanded responsibilities. Jassy also confirmed that Rohit Prasad, who played a key role in building Alexa and later led to the creation of Amazon Nova and the AGI organization, will leave Amazon at the end of the year after more than a decade at the company. Jassy said the changes position Amazon to align its AI models, chips, and cloud infrastructure better, setting the stage for faster progress and new customer capabilities in the year ahead. Amazon stock gained nearly 1% year to date amid concerns over slowing cloud growth, high capital expenditures for AI infrastructure, and potential oversupply in cloud capacity. Meanwhile, a separate report indicated that Amazon is in talks to invest $10 billion in OpenAI. Izzy, what do you think about that investment in OpenAI? I'd be curious. Reuters reported that Amazon is holding fluid talks about joining a funding round that could value OpenAI at more than $500 billion, potentially giving the AI company access to Amazon's Trainium chips. Amazon already works closely with OpenAI, having finalized a $38 billion cloud services deal last month. Earlier, CEO Andy Jassy stated that AI continues to drive strong growth across Amazon, with Amazon Web Services reaccelerating to more than 20% year-over-year growth as demand for AI and core infrastructure remains robust. Izzy's response is Amazon is taking over the world. Lol. It does kind of feel like that. And we've kind of talked about this before. Perhaps too much concentration is actually a bad thing, not necessarily a good thing. All right, folks, good stuff here with the news. You know what that means. We made it through the news, and it's time to bring on 13. Let's go ahead and do that right now. 13, how you doing here today?
Hey, hello. How are you? How was everybody this morning?
And I'm doing great. We are one day closer to Christmas. Literally, the first thing that I thought of, like the first coherent thought that I had when I woke up today was, it is exactly a week until Christmas Day.
Yeah, you're right.
And that, I just absolutely love it. It put a smile on my face early. I drank more coffee than I normally do. I'm absolutely jacked right now and ready to go. So I'm having a great day. The news flow here was rather amusing. And I'm not even talking about Trump's speech last night. I'm talking about some of the other news flow that came here today. I don't know if you caught it, but I had a story here that Brian Johnson, do you know who that is by chance?
That sounds like a very generic name, so maybe.
Yeah, I know. You're right, and that was the right response. Good to put me in my place. Brian Johnson is a tech entrepreneur that is trying to live forever. He's got a whole bunch of crazy stories, but he's making the news here today because he said that human immortality, could be possible by 2039, thanks to AI. And he calls it an insane moment. Now, I'll give you the link to the story if you want to go through it. But one of the things that I did, 13, was I tried to tie that a little bit to telomere, since we just discussed it yesterday with some of the news that it had, not the news that we were looking for. In fact, they kicked that IND submission into next year. But I'm just wondering if you caught any of that and what you thought about that. And then I want to know if you use DoorDash or Instacart.
So first, I didn't catch that news, but it's kind of interesting timing because I'm not sure if you're aware of the bombings that recently happened between Thailand and Cambodia. But Thailand was bombing apparently some scam centers that were tied and actually in the same business park or same address as I think it's called the Academy of Cambodian Life Sciences, where apparently they're conducting stem cell research in some not very ethical ways. I'm not going to get into it on here because it's pretty disturbing, but if anybody's interested, I'd take a deep look into that. But that also has to do with longevity as well. So it's kind of interesting timing that this conflict is happening at the same time that announcement from Brian Johnson, you said, happened, because that really boils down to longevity as well, or immortality. Take a look into what's going on with that war if you're interested. Now, to answer the other question, I have used Uber Eats. I have used DoorDash. I think DoorDash is absolute garbage. It's just so stupid, terrible platform. Uber Eats is much better. I think the last time I used it was like maybe last week. I try not to use it very often, but I don't like dealing with traffic. So if I can, place an order and get some food delivered while I'm, with my family or doing something else, and I think there's value in that for me. But it's not something I do all the time.
Yeah, and that's kind of what that's where I'm at. I totally get it. I also very rarely use it, and I do understand. Like, we had another member here in the chat said that their little brother works 12 hours a day, 7 days a week. And if it's something like that, or if it's something in your case where you're just choosing to spend more time with your family, you probably can't even really put a price on that. And so that really comes down to the individual's personal feelings there. But I think the larger point that you're making there is that you do not use it all of the time. No. And that's exactly how I am.
And I avoid DoorDash because I remember, I don't remember how many years ago it was, but there was a point where if you had to make sure you selected what type of bun you wanted on your sandwich or your hamburger, because if you didn't, it just arrived as a patty with cheese on it and whatever other fixing there were, but no buns. That's how dumb.
So if you did not select, so if you ordered a burger that comes with a bun and you did not select a bun, they sent you just the patty.
Yes, that's how dumb their platform has been. So I'm not going to touch DoorDash anymore. That's for that's for the garbage. Uber and Uber Eats, much better. But like I said, it's not something I use all the time, just when I need the convenience.
Yeah. Zach here says, I always cook. I rarely order. I want to choose all of the ingredients that I eat. Zach, thankfully, one of my friends is a professional at doing that. She's extremely helpful in teaching me things like that. And I'll be honest, since I've moved more towards eating home cooked food more than, and I'm not even talking McDonald's, I'm talking like an actual real restaurant that cooks real food. Moving to more home cooked food has actually made a tremendous positive in my life, or has benefited me. I can already see it. So I'm with you on that. That's absolutely something that I go after. Here's the other funny story. So Uber Eats is really the only one that I've used. And actually, so my first ever Uber Eats experience. You guys ready for this? I've only used Uber Eats. I've never used DoorDash. I've never used Instacart or anything like that. I've only used Uber Eats. And the reason for that is because several years ago, Jason Raznick, former CEO here of Benzinga, I did something at work that he really liked, and he very, very graciously surprised me with $100 Uber gift card. And I was like, this is helpful. When I was traveling to the office, I was expensing the Uber trips, obviously. So I didn't want to use it for that. I think that's probably what he meant for me to do, but I chose not to do that. I thought to myself one day, I was extremely busy. I was like, you know what I'm going to do? I'm going to use this Uber Eats delivery for the first time in my life, and I'm going to order Chick-fil-A, because I think it was a Friday and Chick-fil-A was open. I was like, I'm going to order Chick-fil-A, and I'm going to see how this is. It's not going to cost me anything. So the big downside here, I'm cheap. I don't want to spend extra money if I can just go drive and get it. So I order just like a sandwich and fries and an iced tea or something like that. And instead of one of the combo meals, and instead of getting that, I got 4 chicken sandwiches, chicken nuggets, and fries. So I didn't get my order, but I got like 3x the amount of food that I ordered. And I was just like, this has to be an outlier. This has to be an outlier, because like, this is my first ever order and they're sending me 3x the food that I ordered. Like that is almost like a trap, right? It's a trap. That's like, I'm gonna want to order it all the time. So my first ever order was wrong. It was 3x the food, and it didn't cost me anything because of the generosity from Jason Raznick. But ever since then, I used up the gift card. I've ordered it a couple of times. It's not my thing. Okay. Anyway, sorry for going down the rabbit hole there. Like I said, news flow here today is pretty wild. 13, you want to just dive into the movers?
Let's just dive right in.
Okay. All right. Let's go ahead and do that. Here's your movers tool. First one at the top of the list, ATHA. And it actually looks like several of you are already trading this, which doesn't come as a surprise to me at all. This is Athira Pharma. Stock was about $4 yesterday, popped up to $7.50 here today, and right now it's come back and holding its VWAP, which I think is great. We have some news here today. Athira Pharma to acquire rights for development and commercialization of some drug with a whole bunch of letters, a clinical asset in potentially registrational phase 3 trial. So it looks like this is for treatment options for patients with ESR1 mutations. I'm not sure what that is off the top of my head. Let's see if it says something in here. $90 million private placement, an additional 146 to support development of the new program through key and clinical regulatory milestones. Okay, so acquire rights for a drug here, and looks like a little financing for up to $236 million. That's popping the stock by 64% here. A quick peek at the short interest, 0.24% of the float shorted. So barely, there's literally 8,000 shares held short on this company. That's it. 1 day to cover, trades on an average 100-day volume of 30,000 shares, maybe 31,000 shares. This thing's a ghost town, folks. Today it's done 18 million. Float here is 3.3 million. So ATHA, one of the top stocks on our movers list here today. What say you, 13?
So phase 3 of, I'm going to give it a shot, lasofoxifene.
Okay. So really good job, by the way, on lasofoxifene. And by the way, Jane here offering some more information. Love this. Jane says, Ryan, that drug is approved in Europe for its metastatic breast cancer. The drug is incredible. Jane, I appreciate the insight. This is not something that I have any knowledge of, so appreciate you sharing that with the group. Sounds like it's pretty good. Go ahead, 13. Sorry.
Yeah, I mean, it looks like it's just the chart's compressing right now into a
compression before expansion, right, Hakeem?
A bull pennant here, so there could be a nice move out of this pretty soon. can't say exactly when, but it seems to be coming because we're getting that price action to compress. They got a license for that to and financing for up to 236 million. That's great because according to their financials, they have about a 4-quarter cash runway. So I don't know if that's going to be enough to bring it to market. They still have another drug, amyotrophic lateral sclerosis. It's something that they're developing right now. That's what it's for. They're in phase 1 with that. So they do have some other things in the pipeline they have to finance. So they are going to need that capital. I don't think they'll be needing to do a capital raise today because they have enough cash right now based on their current burn rate. So that should be fine. And then as far as the chart goes, we're just compressing, and as long as we hold above VWAP, and maybe we even go trade compress into the open here, it looks like this is trying to go higher. So we'll see if that's what ends up happening. But so far, the momentum hasn't started to swing to the upside yet.
No, and to your point about this compression 13, if we get a pop on an expanded volume candle through that 7, look out. Not only do I think we can hit those pre-market highs, but I think 8+. If this thing really gets wild, maybe we get to 10. Judging by the float here at 3.3 million, I really think almost anything is possible in there. Maybe not like a run to 100 or something like that, something just completely bonkers. But sure looks like on the back of this could really trade higher. Tell you what, Jane's selling me on this. This drug, it should be used instead of the awful ones they prescribe now for preventing breast cancer in high-risk women. This is big pharma shutting down a great drug. Well, it sounds like the drug is advancing, right? It sounds like the milestones are being met here. This actually sounds like good information for the drug, but I understand where you're coming from there. And Buffalo by Bicycle is making Swedish meatballs right now from scratch. That sounds so good. That sounds so good. Okay, we're gonna get back down to brass tacks here before I get hungry, because that would be no good. ATHA, we'll see if we get a trade in that here today. Next on the list, Sable Offshore. Now, I know we've traded this one before. I can't remember what the catalyst was or what the reason was, but I know we've traded ticker SOC before. This stock was about 525 yesterday, popped up to 9 earlier today and backed off. Let's see what we got here. Looks like we had something after hours here. It gains interstate pipeline status approval. I'm not actually sure what that means. The pipeline for hazardous materials. No. So what is this? Does anyone know what this is? Confirms the pipeline is. Do you know what this is? 13. Let me see.
No, but this is a midstream. It sounds like.
Yeah.
So that's going to be interesting for next year.
Yeah, you know what? So sorry, I was just trying to very quickly learn more about what this actually is, just because it's not my forte. But you make a really good point there. You just cut down right to brass tacks there. This should be good if energy is a theme next year.
Mm-hmm. Maybe I have to drive by this company. They're in Houston.
Ooh, boots on the ground research from 13. Nobody's going to say no to that.
Santa Ynez unit in federal waters offshore California. So, okay, interesting.
By the way, highly shorted, 27.81% of the float shorted with 5.17 days to cover. That comes on an average volume of 6.65 million. It's done 4.6 here today. The float, though, about 110, so it's a little bit thicker than that. What do you think on this? You think we get a trade here today? You like this?
I'd have to read this Form 8 because they're talking about a pipeline that's in California, and we know what's about to happen with that state as far as the refineries go. So I don't have a whole lot of color to add to this, but it's kind of interesting because pipeline is going to be one thing. If this is just an oil pipeline for crude, I don't know that this is really going to entice me a whole lot. But if this is for like refined fuel, then that's a different story. It's just that California's losing 2 refineries, one this month and one in April next year. So I don't know that the oil pipeline into California, if that's what this is necessarily an exciting theme for me. So I'd have to look into this some more. But let me just take a look at the financials, and I could give you some more color on this.
No problem. I'm stealing an A+ choice meme off the internet right now, so you do what you gotta do.
This this thing loses a lot of money every quarter, over 100 million every quarter. I don't think they have the cash. I'm not sure about this one. Let's look at the chart. because it looks like based on their cash burn rate, they're going to need to raise capital very soon. And it doesn't seem like they have the money in the bank right now. But let's look at the chart. Right now, it's curling back up. We are above VWAP, 60, but we're above everything right now, all the EMAs and the VWAP. So that's looking good. We're turning back up here. It looks like 830 could be a resistance area. You also have the 1065, which is the 65-day EMA. That could be another upside resistance area. We haven't hit that high yet. The high we've hit so far in the pre-market is 939. But I'm sorry, that was the after hours. But we are coming up to fill that gap created by the after hours close into the pre-market open. So there's a bit of a gap there from about 830 to looks like 885, 880. So we could end up filling that as we march into the open here. But what happens when we get up there, I'm not sure. It's like I don't know if I have a lot of conviction on this one based on what they're doing and where they're doing it. So I'd have to read some more into it to really like this one. But it seems like it's trading up into that gap.
We have some help from the chat. OA Roush Stage 3 says they, meaning SOC, I believe, purchased XOM West Coast assets. They purchased 3 offshore platforms, and then he wanted to yell at you. They're about to produce for the first time in 5 years. Also in there, by the way, Russ, really appreciate the tip. $1.99. You're the best, brother. Anything that you do like this, I'm going to say it every time, guys. It's not required by any stretch, but we always appreciate that. Russ, let us know if there's anything we can do there for you. And Rouse Stage 3 saying, I contract with SOC. So good. We've got somebody that actually knows what's going on here. Any information that you can give us about this, what you think, where it might go, Roush, we will take it. That's awesome stuff. Awesome stuff. Happy CPI day indeed, Jay. Good morning. It's great to see you. Okay. Was that it for SOC? Because to me, 13, the trade looks like here, if we can keep curling up, you get volume expansion. I do think 9 is possible, and that would be a $1 move on stock that's $8. That's pretty decent. So, okay. Good stuff there, SOC. Next one on the list here, PAVS. This wasn't down. It looks like this is popping right now on something. This is Paranovis Entertainment. God, that's what happened here. Wednesday. So last night it was halted for news pending. Do we have the news on this? Because I don't see any. The stock's clearly unhalted. I don't see what's going on.
Reverse split.
Well, that's effective today, but is that what the halt was for? Maybe, you know what? Maybe you're right. Maybe that's all the halt was for.
That could have been it. Yeah.
Okay, well, in any case, Paranovis Entertainment Technology, I don't even know what this does, through its subsidiaries is involved in the AI-powered entertainment industry. Oh, here we go. To provide users with AI-driven games and applications to deliver immersive and engaging entertainment experiences. And it sounds like other words describing the metaverse, but that's neither here nor there. Quick peek at the short interest on this, 0.98% of the float shorted with 1 day to cover. Average 100-day volume there, 812,000. It's done 1.2 million here on the back of that unhalt. Float 66. What do you think here, 13?
It sounds a lot like what I was telling you about where video games could end up going with AI. I don't think that's exactly this, but it hints at it. This seems to be more involved in e-commerce. They've got e-commerce related to TikTok, so business. So they have that angle as well. They're associated with TikTok. The reverse split, we did see another stock earlier this week move after a reverse split. I think we traded it yesterday. I can't remember which one it was, but we already had one of those move on a reverse splits, and this one could be doing the same. I don't know how great it is. Let me look at the financials. That might be able to tell us. I don't have a read on their income statement. Must be annual or biannual. It looks like they lose about 6 to 7 million a quarter. A year over the past couple of years. I think they don't seem to have the cash either. I don't know. I think I'd be careful with this one. It could see an offering coming here. I don't know what to make of this, because here's the thing. We just went through a reverse split. It's likely because they weren't meeting that minimum bid requirement.
Yeah.
And now that they have gone through that and it doesn't look like they have cash, next step is to raise cash. But I think I'd be careful with this one. I don't know if it's going to be great or not. I mean, we had a big pop and then it came right back in.
Yep.
I don't know. I don't know with this one. It doesn't. I think I'd avoid this one.
I was waiting for you to get there because I had a feeling you were at the exact same page that I'm on, and indeed, we are on that page 6-7, by the way. Lol. I also would stay away from this one completely. I don't really get it. The price action here, not great. And frankly, given the backdrop of some of the other stuff that we have going on here with Micron's huge beat and some of the ripples and then the CPI print driving the market higher here, to me, it seems like we're going to have better opportunities than this one. But we'll cover it because that's what we do here. We cover things. All right. Next on the list here is going to be everyone's favorite.
Real quick. ATHA, it did the thing.
It did the thing. This was called out here in chat. Really awesome. Looks like it did break that sideways area. Really good breakdown. That should have prepared you for it. Again, let's see if it's able to break that pre-market high and go even higher there. Okay. Now everyone's got to try to stay calm. Okay. Let's try and stay calm here. The next stock that's on the list is DJT.
No, right? More coffee.
13's like, F your calm. We're going to go crazy. Trump Media and Technology Group shares are trading higher after the company signed a merger agreement with Tay Technologies. There's more. Tay Technologies will combine in an all-stock transaction valued at more than $6 billion. This is a fusion power play to fuel the AI future. So I'm actually not familiar with Tay here. Deal to combine TMG's significant capital and Tay's leading fusion technology. In 2026, the combined company's plans to site and begin construction on the world's first utility-scale fusion power plant. Okay, so that's what's going on here. We all know DJT is a trading vehicle, not necessarily an investment vehicle. Quick peek at the short interest. Now that we haven't looked at this in a while, 6.96% of the float shorted with 2.04 days to cover. Comes on an average 100-day volume of 5.8 million shares. Today we've done 15.74 million. And as a reminder, the float on this one a little bit thicker here at 164 million. What do you think on this one, 13? You think we get a trade out of? I'm not even going to ask you if it's a good investment. We're not even going to go down that road. No. Do you think that there is going to be a trade here today based on that?
I mean, it's also one of these names that's kind of compressing into the open here. Although we haven't really been getting a whole lot of back and forth. We've had one big up move, one big down move, and then it's been trying to slowly make its way back up. I think there will be a trade in this one, but it's probably going to be more along the lines of let's see what this does out of the open, because we could come right back down to the 65 EMA there at 12.13. So that might be a potential scenario that happens. And then there's also, if we do end up breaking out and going to the upside, there's resistance at, I think it was 1364 or 1352. That's where the 65-day EMA is. And I think that's going to be in play here as well today. Just don't know when we're going to see the big movement. We might get it just before the open. We might get it after we open. But we're heading into the open, I think, one way or the other with this, getting ready to make a big move once the bell hits.
Okay. Alistar or Alisir Rising. I'm not sure how to properly say your name, but you're awesome anyway. Fusion is the future of energy and cheaper and cleaner than everything but solar. All that's true. I am not sure what the timeline is for this, the success probability, and all of those things. I would say that despite all of that being true, I would still just kind of, at least for today here, view this as a trade.
Yeah, I'm there with you on that. But what's your time horizon on that? Because for me, it's going to be probably about a decade at the least. I don't think that we're near that being. We're going to be much closer in proving that it works and that we can get a net positive in energy production, because there's a lot of energy that has to go into making that whole fusion process happen. So the net positive to where it becomes commercially viable, I think that's still a long ways away. But I do agree that it's the cleanest and best way in the future.
Yeah. Okay. All right. Good stuff there. That is DJT. Next one on the list here is SPAI. This is Safe Pro Group. This stock in the after hours yesterday popped from about 330 up to 460 this morning. It's really just been weak. I know that there was like one little green candle there where the stock tried to recapture the VWAP and failed. The stock has really just stayed under the VWAP all pre-market. It's retraced 50% of its move higher, sitting right down here at about 384. Let's take a look and see what the news was on this one from the after hours yesterday. Looks like we didn't have anything in the after hours. Ondas Holdings. Wait a sec.
Yes, that's right.
Ondas Holdings $4 million defense and SafePro Group's complete Middle East pilot programming, demonstrating advanced demining capabilities with AI-powered hazard identification.
Yep.
They also announced a $3 million share repurchase program.
Yeah.
So I actually didn't go through this at all this morning. Go ahead, 13. I'm sorry for cutting you off.
It's okay. Also, when you're done with looking at this one, look at ONDS, because this has a nice formation going into the open as well. I mean, maybe this comes up to about the $7.90 to $8 area at ONDS, but let's go back to SPAI, because I don't know about this one yet. I haven't looked at the chart, but I just noticed that ONDS was part of that news, so I thought it was interesting. Oops,
yeah.
1 second. Didn't put the S in there. All right.
So this is pretty cool. A sample real-world detection of an anti-tank mine identified in drone-based imagery processed by SafePro's AI platform from a recently completed pilot program conducted in the Middle East. Wow. So this is actually pretty cool. So it looks like this helps identify things like tank mines.
That's pretty cool.
That is pretty cool. You know what? I'm glad. So I'm sorry that I'm not prepared for this, because I didn't know this was here and I didn't have time to read through this, but this is going to give me something to do. I will read through that entire PR when I get a chance, when we're off the show here.
SPAI, if this can get back above 410, start closing above 410, I think it could go on to fill the overnight gap between the after hours and the pre-market here. And if it does, that'll take it up to about 455, 450 before we start running into some resistance. The high of the after hours yesterday was 474. So that's going to be another resistance area too. But I think the first two I mentioned there, 410 and then the gap fill at 455, I think those are going to be the ones that we want to keep an eye on.
Okay. Looks like SPAI. Let's see if it gets through the VWAP here. You had also said, let's take a look at Ondas, because that has a pretty decent formation going into the open here. Yeah. And indeed, I will say, when Ondas has days of weakness like it did yesterday, and the day prior, not the day before that, but the day before that. So English. Do you speak it? Yes. On Monday and Wednesday, the 2 days where the stock was traditionally weak, I do like seeing that it kind of comes back the next day. Let's hope for another up move here. I still think $8 would be a key level if we do trade higher here today. But what did you have here on the formation?
Yeah, it's looks like it's forming into a either it's going to be a scallop or a cup with handle, but it looks like either way we're trying to get above 870. Hold on. 785. Sorry, I got those numbers all mixed up apparently. But
it's okay.
If it does manage to break above that level, you have this consolidation here from yesterday that it's got to make its way through on its way up to 8. And it looks like 8 is going to be a pretty hefty resistance level with this consolidation. So we're going to need to see some big volume in order to get through all of that. And this kind of gives us an area to watch for in case we see that volume start to wane in this consolidation. Then maybe it's not going to break through at that time. So that's just some things I'd be watching for with ONDS if we do get this up move out of the gate here.
Okay. All right. Did you want to talk about anything else on this movers list? A lot of these look like they're kind of like CGC was on here. That's just kind of continuation from the cannabis news that we talked about. Resolve AI maybe having a dead cat after the absolute shellacking it took yesterday. Micron higher here on blowout earnings and guidance. Was there any? Oh, and then Kathy here in the chat. Let me actually just start with this, and then I'll let you pick where you want to go from it. So I had started the program earlier today in today's show. I had mentioned that I broke all my rules. 13. I broke all of my rules on this GEV trade. We had a very, very clear break of the island. The stock clearly traded down. This thing was weak all day yesterday. There was no bounces in it. I mean, it was no good. And I thought to myself, well, you can either be a part of this downward move and sell into this weakness, or you can be a little bit patient here. And I'm going to say this. I held on to it against the rules of the trade because I was talking about this being a floating island trade. So I'm sorry about that. I did not follow my own rules. I am definitely down on the position, but not by a whole lot. And 13, I say all of this because one of the reasons why I did that is because we've covered this so extensively. You've done so much good work and research on this that I was like, you know what? This is one of those where I should probably give it a little bit more time, give it a little bit more patience. So I am thrilled today that it's trading higher because Jeffries upgraded the stock from hold to buy and raised the price target from 736 to 815. Stock is up 5+% here in the pre-market. Let's hope it gets back to the levels that it was at before. But just wanted to update all of you. Is there anything that you want to mention here? I don't think there's anything new necessarily.
There really isn't anything new, and it's not surprising that we got this move down with the rest of the whole AI trade, with Oracle, saying that there's a delay in these AI data centers getting built out, and Blue Owl decided to pull out because the time horizon is too long for them. This doesn't really change anything for me when it comes to GE Vernova, because there's still other power plants being built, other data centers being built in other countries. I think they're going to be just fine. This may have represented a pretty good buying opportunity. This is still well above my cost basis, so I'm not buying this dip. But I still think that the long term, this is going to be great. I still have a long-term horizon on this. So the move that we got that took us up almost over 725, that was surprising. But I didn't, it didn't change any my whole plan for this. I'm not going to be shedding this for a while. I think this is going to be great going into 2026 and maybe even 2027.
Okay. Also, did you have anything here on Micron at all? That's obviously trading higher. This is up 14%. One thing I will say here, possible gap and go on this, but I would also, I think if I had to pick one or the other, I would think that we see some profit taking out of the open here. And 13, to your comment earlier about maybe we ought to wait this out of the open. I think the same is probably true for Micron. But go ahead and give me your opinion here on Micron. I'm going to step away for just 1 sec. I'll be right back, right?
Sure. So we've seen RAM prices, DRAM and NAND flash memory. A lot of things that Micron produces just get really, really expensive as of late. Basically, since I think October or September, we started seeing just consumer prices on RAM rising significantly, because they're going to be, RAM is important for this data center build out. So it's not, surprising seeing how we had all that, those massive jump in prices for RAM over the past several months lead to a great earnings report for them. So that shouldn't be surprising. I think the big surprising part for me was how much they guided going into next quarter. That was a massive guide, in my opinion, and that just goes to show that I don't think this data center theme is anywhere near done, especially because we've had some other components of that trade come back in, like graphics cards and GPUs have also come back in. But RAM, they're going to need a lot of this, and especially if they're building more data centers. I don't think that there's going to be really that much of an abatement in that demand. But as far as the Micron itself, this does look like it's kind of facing a bit of topping out. So I could see this filling the gap to the downside, but it also seems to me like we could end up getting support down just underneath 240. So we'll see what ends up happening here today. It is, that 265 is certainly a big level to get over. We haven't cleared it yet. We only gone as high as 264.75. So other than that, I don't have a whole lot to add. I still think that this is going to continue higher. We might get some pullback because it's been on a massive run with the rest of tech, but like I said, I don't think this whole AI theme is finished yet.
Yeah, neither do I. I think that's a really good breakdown there. Appreciate it. Some good back and forth here in the chat. I really appreciate that as well. Buffalo by Bicycle, rules are just a guide. Go with your gut. You know what? That's actually a really good way to kind of sum up my thought there on GEV. If it hadn't been for our community, I would have just kicked it because it didn't follow my rule. And then I'd be looking at it today and I'd be like, maybe I did the wrong thing. You're right there. And a big time shout out to our group.
Brian,
also, yeah.
Brian's asking about Micron ETFs. If you're wanting to do the leveraged upside ETFs, the bull shares, you have MULL and MUU.
I am going to take a different approach a little bit because this show is friends with Direction, the company, and Eddie Glinsky, who's absolutely awesome and joins us here. So I would recommend MUD for the 1X Bear, or MUU, the 2X Bull. It's just as an aside. I'm more tongue in cheek than anything.
And I do remember Lion. Yes, I remember that very well. Because here we are, like over 3 times higher now. It's fantastic.
Hey, we'll do victory laps on triples all day long here. Chewbacca absolutely loves the energy that you have. Also, I didn't catch this, but we had kind of a wacky news story that I'm having some fun with. So I'm going to highlight Kathy's comment here. Wall Street Journal has a great article today on when they let AI run their vending machine. Ended up ordering wine and beta fish and giving away all of the items.
Okay.
I guess my only follow-up question here is, what kind of wine and where exactly was this vending machine? Because that is, I did not see this story, Kathy, but that's rather amusing, frankly. So,
by the way, ONDS is looking like it's trying to push over that 785 level. It's getting right up to it right now.
Oh, really?
Oh, really?
That's internet meme language there for you. Okay. My kind of vending machine, says the veggie girl. Amen. Amen to that. Amen to that. That's good stuff. Okay. We got 4 minutes here. Is there anything specific that you want to do ahead of Thursday's open here today? Did you have any thoughts on the CPI?
Wow.
Are you excited about the Warrior dividend? I mean, anything really. Just, I'm going to flip over to the main workspace here. We're getting ready for the open. Anything you want to take a look at, or we could go to the chat. I'm sure the chat's got some ideas.
I think we could just go with the chat. I didn't catch all of that speech last night.
That I was more joking than anything else.
Okay, well, I'm still always in that mode, but yeah, the CPI numbers is okay. Well below the estimates, I guess.
Well below.
I don't know if you want to trust that or not. It's up to you. But yes, good print versus the estimates.
Okay, well, the market seems to like it, at least so far. Did you have any outlook on the SPY or what you think might happen with the SPY now that the print's behind us? I had outlined a little bit earlier some of the key levels. Let me actually go back to that. I'll just bring it up here. I don't have them on the smaller chart. Let me do it on the bigger chart here. We'll go back to some of those key levels here. I think now with the print out of the way, we can probably devise a more specific plan. Earlier, I was giving you both upside and downside targets, and I think that those will still remain in place here today. The big level that we are over is the 50-day. Next up here, 678.39. Maybe call that 678 and a half, whatever. That's what's next here. That's our 20-day. And then let me zoom in here. I'm sorry, this thing is so laggy. Let me zoom in here and see if I can find what that value is on the trend line, just in case we get to that.
Yeah, and I haven't gone over the CPI report yet, so I'll be doing that after the show here. To
okay, perfect.
Can, go through the devil in the details. But yeah, Jay, that's kind of a little bit what I thought we might be, getting some relief from, but that's still a really big drop in CPI versus the estimates. And, I wouldn't be surprised if a lot of us are just really skeptical of that number. But, we are going to get our open here in SPY pretty soon. It's going to be it looks like it's going to be the first open underneath the 20-day SMA since November 25th. So it's been some time since we've trailed underneath this thing here. But I was looking for some more downside based on the candle that we had yesterday. But that was all based on, what the news is going to be this morning and whether or not Micron's earnings were going to be good. Well, we got our answer, and Micron's earnings helping lift the stock market back up, as well as that CPI print. So here we are above the 50-day SMA, poised to open above it, but still beneath the 20-day SMA on the SPY.
Yep. And also here, the SPY, if I go into the 5-minute chart, you can see that trend line that we recently installed here, we are taking that out. Okay. Broadcom levels, Jay Harris, I'm sure we can do that here. Let me really quickly get to Terra's EVTV here, because this is a stock that we don't cover as much and might not come back to. It's a penny stock. Can you guys do me a favor and look at EVTV and tell me what you think? I know we don't normally do a lot of penny stocks. I have no idea what this is. Envirotech Vehicles, I'll have to look into it. It has some concerning price action here today, I would say. It looks like it tried to go to $1 and immediately got hit here. Provider of purpose-built zero-emission electric vehicles focused on reducing the total cost of vehicle ownership and helping fleet operators unlock benefits in green technology. Looks like the news here was that it was announced a $480 million business combination framework to focus on AI infrastructure and applied AI systems. I would want to know, I don't know about this company. I would want to know what the issue is here. Looks like it's got no cash and it loses money, so it's likely going to have to raise money. That'd be the first thing that jumps off the page for me here.
And we're
Nothing
open
on the short interest.
Yeah, I can get back to that one later on once we have some more time. But right now, ONDS ripping out of the gate.
All right, let's go. Izzy, didn't you buy that yesterday for a swing? You said earlier. Giddy up.
Going
giddy up.
Pretty close to 8 there. This is right. Okay, so this is right into the consolidation that we were talking about. So here we are having some upside trouble here. Man, the supply zone you can't shake them. But once we get up there, if we get the volume to continue to expand, we can move through this. But right now, the first move up there ran into that resistance just as we were expecting. All right.
Micron here looks like that's pulling a little bit from the open. Let's see. What do I have VWAP at here on Micron? Looking at a different chart here, 255. So we're beneath VWAP here. We're getting the sell the news that I had kind of anticipated there on Micron. ATHA here looks like it's trying to go above. There it goes.
Trying to break through 750. It looks like. Got to see that 750 seller to get taken out.
Folks that are trading on this, remember, we've seen this stock, especially when it has news. A lot of times when it trades up there, it will sell off at some point, sometimes very, very quickly. The only reason I'm mentioning that is because if you're going to trade it, probably better buying weakness than trying to buy the breakout. Maybe it does go a little bit more, but we've seen that have some pretty nasty pullbacks. Don't get caught in anything like that. If you are going to try playing the breakout, I would say definitely keep an aggressive stop on that.
Yep. ATHA, ONDS now over 8. These are the best looking ones.
Indeed.
Best looking ones, and we were pointing out what they could do, and this is exactly what we wanted to see.
Red wire ripping out of the gate. Power green candle on the 5 there. Tesla's higher out of the gate. Sorry.
I know this is going to be asked, and I'll just go ahead and say it. I don't think this is the Santa Claus rally yet. It might be, but I don't think it is yet.
Let me twist that around a little bit. Given the CPI print today, do you think we are more likely, less likely, or as likely to have said Santa Claus rally when the time frame is appropriate?
I do not want to make that prediction with Bank of Japan's rate decision.
Okay, and that is a perfect tie-in here, because I'm going to highlight this comment that I did not ignore. We were just handling something else. Unstabilio Pope. I don't know what that means, but it got a laugh out of 13, so you're probably on the right track. Is nobody worried about the Bank of Japan anymore? The answer to this is no. We are definitely still looking out for this. Now, as I understand it, with the time change and everything, this decision is going to happen later tonight, U.S. time, when the market is closed. So I think then whatever the repercussions from the Bank of Japan decision are going to be, we're going to be dealing with that tomorrow. I think today you're probably going to trade on the back of the CPI data and maybe this Micron data. And Micron, by the way, recaptured VWAP and went to new highs.
I think, that's nice. I think that we get that information very, very early in the morning Friday for us. It's like 1 or 2 a.m. But the point is that it's happening overnight when markets are closed. So we're not going to be able to do anything about it until pre-market opens. That's the point that you were trying to get across. But it is going to happen. It is going to happen when our markets are closed. So whatever happens with that, just I think be ready.
Okay, that Tesla pop sold. That is now we're rolling back over. Ondas came in from its highs. It's not done yet. Micron continues to print new highs. It's unstable, Pope. Okay, I probably should have figured that one out on my own, to be quite honest with you. And you're welcome, by the way. You guys are great every day. We appreciate that. You're great for joining us, so thank you. And by the way, Lion says Santa's on top of his chimney right now. So he says the rally is confirmed because he's going to Lion's house early. Lion also looking out for the rest of the community here. I will tell him to stop by all of you as well. LOL.
Okay. Just don't eat the reindeer.
Don't eat the reindeer. Yeah, please don't do
ATHA.
that. Really. Go ahead. Sorry,
I
you're
was gonna
talking
say
about real stuff.
this just put in the news high because we just had the pre-market high of
This is the pop that we were maybe looking for, though.
Yeah, and that we just got over 790. We just got up to 794. We pulled back a little bit, but this might not be finished yet. Just keep an eye on it. We'll see if it can push higher. But so far, so good. Nice movement for ATHA out of the gate here.
Really quickly here, and I'm
SOC not going. Sorry,
I'm sorry. No, it's okay. It's okay. You're trying to like focus on actual work, and I'm not, so it's totally fine. Really quickly, you had the joke about not eating the reindeer. Do any of you guys scroll through Instagram and come across any of those funny videos? And if the answer is yes, have you come across the videos of Big Dog? The deer and the family of deer that come up to this guy's house and he feeds them different fruit every day. His name is Big Dog. He makes a series of videos. They're absolutely effing hilarious. Absolutely hilarious. Just wondering if anyone's seen that. Anyway.
Yeah, I haven't seen that one, but seen a lot of other Sora made. I just saw one yesterday of, you remember the drill instructor Hartford from Full Metal Jacket? Played by Harley Armory. So they did an AI video of him, but teaching kids at Hogwarts. I thought it was hilarious.
Okay. I actually would watch that one. I actually would watch that one. Really quickly here, someone is asking here about Medline. I shouldn't say someone. Cyril, sorry about that. Medline, question mark. So this was, in fact, the biggest IPO of 2025. I actually did scalp this yesterday. In hindsight, I did a poor job because the thing basically traded up all day yesterday. Not something we've seen from some of these IPOs. Looks like it pulled back a little bit here in the pre-market, but it is going now. We're actually back above the VWAP here on Medline. We'll see if this can break 40. We do have those after hours highs of about 42. So let's see if that gets taken out. Yeah, Michael here says, I have seen that, Ryan. He has a bunch of deer that he feeds, but it's all about Big Dog. There's Medium Dog now, apparently. They're great videos. I would love to live in a place where I can interact with wildlife like that. I would be their favorite person. I would feed them so much good food. Anyway.
So we had a pop in SOC. That's coming back into VWAP.
Ondas highs. Giddy up.
DJT, this fell out of the open underneath VWAP, but it's getting some support down around the 1280, 1275 area. ATHA, this is this kind of trying to figure out what it's going to do next, if it's going to push through up to 8 or if it's going to back test 740.
Broadcom here. This is actually higher by 1.75%. Jay Harris, you were asking about Broadcom levels earlier. I think the notable one here is this 324 area. This is a support area that goes back to September of this year. It probably goes back further than that. No, actually, I'm sorry, it doesn't. This is actually the bottom of the island, it looks like. So this is a pretty significant support that so far Broadcom has tried to bounce off. As far as next level higher here, probably thinking 350, right? The 19 points higher from where we're at. That might turn this around. Broadcom's really kind of been selling off from its highs recently. Jay mentioning here, Apple, Netflix, the only names that I see red. That Netflix one, I wonder if the market's still kind of pricing in this Warner Brothers Discovery deal, trying to figure out where this should be in terms of what it's worth. By the way, seeing more CGC calls getting traded here. These look like the 2 calls. CGC up another 16%. Didn't we have some signing happening today?
Executive order?
Yeah, I thought, wasn't that, we were talking about that yesterday, weren't we? Am I screwing this up with something else?
Let me see here.
I feel like we talked about this yesterday. Tom saying, be prepared. I mentioned this earlier, Tom. Be prepared for Ondas to go up because Kramer last night took a pass. So in the lightning round of Mad Money yesterday, someone called in and said Ondas, and Kramer's response was hard pass. So if you're inverse Kramer, Ondas higher today. Let's see it. Yes, it's later today. Thank you, day trader. I thought so. We were just talking about that. By the way, Medline, for anyone that thought that was going to go back higher here, Medline, nice move. I know there were some folks in happy hour that said they held this overnight. Want to see a 40 break here. There it goes. Medline.
More like red line.
41 going to be your next spot here. Looks like it's making a dash to it.
Yeah, cannabis names. I mean, I'm looking at MSOS right now. That's just kind of been sideways more or less out of the gate here.
A new 25-year study found that higher intake of high-fat milk, hang on a sec, it started to scroll away from me. A 25-year study found that a higher intake of high-fat cheese and cream was associated with a lower risk of all-cause dementia.
Nice.
How about that?
I'll take it.
Yeah, no word on what it does for the heart, though. Good morning, Mama Bear. Good to see you.
DJT, breaking a trend line now to the upside here after getting support around the 1275 area. We also have ONDS hitting at 815, sort of backing off a little bit, but still above VWAP. And SOC, this still trying to hold above VWAP and return to some of these highs here. Didn't quite fill the gap out of the gate. So there's still a potential for that to happen if it continues to hold up here. Meanwhile, ATHA, this has just made a new session high.
AT, I was just going to say, so this is now going through 8. We just talked about this. I do think 10 is possible. I would not chase this, as I wouldn't chase anything here today, but nice little break there. Also mentioning that registering, that was for WIS, Medline 35 to 40. Not a bad trade overnight, boss. Not a bad trade. I think I got like $1.16 out of that yesterday off to one trade. So way to go. 5 points is nice. Nice. Jane says, cheese is my middle name. Yay. PayPal. This is a good mention here. I noticed that PayPal right out of the open looked like it was trying to close that gap from the nasty downgrade that it took here today. Looks like it did, in fact, close that gap, but pull back down to VWAP. But I tell you what, man, PayPal, this thing has been tough. This thing has been tough. Is anyone trading PayPal? Does anyone have a long on this?
YCBD, by the way, another marijuana name that just moved up to 256. I think that is a new 52-week high, maybe? No, it's not, but getting pretty close there. I think the most recent high above this one was back from April 1st. Funny that this went up on April Fool's Day.
DJT maybe trying to break out of the sideways consolidation here with its eyes set on 14.
Yep.
Here's SOC. Looks like this pulled back towards the VWAP. We'll see if this has the strength to really retest 9.
Yep. This one, as long as we hold above VWAP, there's a good chance for this to come back up to where the highs of the regular session were around 870, and potentially even move up higher.
Dude.
Yeah. CGC looking good.
Yeah, it is. It's straight up out of the gate, 6 to midnight here. Lion saying, me, Ryan, I bought PayPal a couple weeks ago. Okay, so you're down on your PayPal, but you still believe in it. I got to think that you would imagine that the gap fill here to the upside post downgrade is probably a good thing. Matthew says he's long on PayPal. Kanan says he's been long on PayPal for 2 years. God, I wish I really do wish I had the conviction that you guys do on PayPal. Like, I actually use and like the product, and I can't get myself to hold it. CGC ripping now.
DJT also doing the same thing. This is right. It went through the 65 EMA, coming up to some consolidation, and actually the pre-market high, which is 1470. Jesus. And $14 looks like that's going to be a psychological resistance level that we're trying to push through right now. And we're trying to get it right now. But if we do that, then I think we'll see that 1470. All right. So ATHA, that's maybe running out of steam a little bit. SOC, I think this is going to push into the new session highs here.
SOC, ATHA. So that actually looks like it's slowing down here, but still really, really strong. CGC topped at 238, and here's SOC 13. Yep. Looks like we're going to break that.
Yep, it's certainly trying to, but I don't know what's going to happen quite yet beyond the gap fill. That gap fill is the next thing I'm waiting for here, and we're almost there. So we could find some resistance just under 9, but if we blow through 9, then we're on here. F-Cell here. F-Cell popping right out of the open here. This was actually higher. Fuel cell energy shares are trading higher. The company reported better than expected Q4 financial results. This F-Cell chart actually looks pretty good, Chester. This is a nice little impulse move, pull back to the VWAP.
You were on this at the right time. I actually got to it a little bit late here. Not bad. I also noticed that Plug is moving to the upside on this as well. Look at Plug. It looks the exact same as FCell.
Because as I recall, they're kind of like in similar spaces, right?
Yeah. This one had. We also had Jose Crespo bought 37,300 shares. That's a new Form 4. What is he? Luis Jose Crespo. See remarks. So I actually have to look at the SEC filing. It doesn't. I wonder what position he is there. Let me see if I can find that for you.
Ondas new highs now. This thing is taken off.
I'll take it. I will take it. See if I can find out who this is.
SOC.
This is a 10% owner.
Looks like SOC just barely came up to the wicks where the gap is going to fill. I'd like to see it get to the real body, but looks like it's reversing right now after just barely hitting that gap fill at the wicks. And it looks like ATHA. Not sure if this reversal candle from the past 5-minute candle is indicating that this is going to come down. It looks like it might, but right now it's still trying to push higher. So if this candle doesn't close above 835, which is the high of the last candle, then maybe that is the indication that ATHA is going to come back in.
SOC continuing, looks like 9 coming up here.
Fantastic. There we go. Now it's moving through up to the real body. We're going to want to see a 9 print here. 939 was the high in the after hours yesterday for SOC. DJT still going here through 14, looking for 1470. And got to reiterate, just be careful with these because this is great. Everything's looking fantastic right now. I don't expect this to last all morning.
And the market, by the way, the broader market here, SPY, Dow, and Nasdaq all pulled back a little bit. So some of these individual names seem to be bucking what the overall market is doing on the back of that CPI print.
All right. All right.
SOC 9 test coming.
Yep. I'm just glad that almost everything we've been looking at here has been working pretty well. I'm really happy with this.
This has been the outlier, no question about it.
ONDS, man, this thing. Look at this go. I think we're heading for 856, the high from yesterday.
I'll take it. I will absolutely take it. Gil took 15% off for ATHA. Good luck to the rest of you. Gil, register ring for you. Register ring for you. CGC trading on a lot of volume. It's actually the highest volume trader, even more so than DJT. Pull back to the VWAP, reload in a higher move here. SOC, same deal. God, I'm still waiting for that 9. I wonder if it pulls back from 9. X-Sniper CPI print was 2.7 versus the 3.1 estimate. Way softer than anticipated.
Yeah, ATHA, I think it is looking a little weak at the moment. Just need to see that volume expand, take out this reversal candle, this gravestone doji.
So here, White House advisor Kevin Hassett regarding the core inflation that I was just asked about, or the inflation print that I was just asked about. Core inflation is only 1.6%. We've got high growth in core inflation. It's about where it should be. I'm not going to declare victory yet on the price problem. CPI report is astonishingly good. Wages are growing faster than prices. People are going to get big tax returns next year. Expect a big announcement on housing costs. We have a meeting on housing on Friday. There are a lot of things we can do through regulation, can reward states that make it easier for people to buy new homes. So that's the comment that we got from Hassett after the CPI print. I actually put the data print in the chat for you, X-Sniper. So there you go. CGC still pulling off the high. It does look like SOC pulled off that $9 level that we were looking at.
Ooh, marijuana stocks starting to, MSOS just had a big drop. I don't know which company is pulling it down that much, but big drop in some of these marijuana names.
Here is SOC. It looks like we tapped 9 and backed off.
ONDS is having a big pull as well, right back down to VWAP. Looks like a lot of these names are starting to turn around here. So just be careful, folks. Just be careful. Well, RGTZ have another one of those mornings.
It's going higher.
Well, it was selling into the open, and then and now we're having a rally back up to where it was going sideways in the after hours and pre-market. Looks like 2350 is going to be 2350 could be the spot if it doesn't happen with the 65 and 200 EMAs.
20% on ATHA for Dara. Bang. Ondas pulled off of its highs again, but that might not be done. DJT in a 14 handle still hasn't really had a big pullback other than that shake from the open. ATHA, it looks like a lot of traders are on here, seems to be slowing down here. The one thing I will say is that if this doesn't break back down, this actually might be setting up for another move higher here. One of the things I guess I would say on this is if you sold partial, if you booked all, that's great. If you sold partial here, this is probably a scenario where you raise the stop.
I'm keeping an eye on YCPD. I like the formation that they've got going on here for the first 25 minutes. If this current candle that we're in can hold above these EMAs, and then if not this one, the next candle recaptures VWAP, I think we might have a bit of a turnaround here on our hands. But still need to see some of that stuff happen. DJT still printing new session highs, but kind of running into some sellers at the same time. SOC looks like this is still trying to push up here. It's still trading above VWAP. Just be careful. I mean, looks like some of these names are running out of steam.
SOC, this might be gearing up to retake some of those highs. Still think there's some strength here in SOC. Volume so far is telling me the same thing.
Okay, looks like I'm getting my wish here with YCBD. So far, looking pretty good. If we can just hold above VWAP here and continue to move upwards. Also getting some recovery in some cannabis names.
Also getting some recovery in the two names that Jay mentioned earlier, Apple and Netflix. Those both sold off right out of the open pretty hard too. Both of those look like they've firmed up a little bit. Netflix especially looks like it might be trying to close that.
Netflix got a price target lowered at Morgan Stanley, huh?
Yeah. See, that's what I was saying earlier about the whole like shaking out of the Warner Brothers Discovery deal. I wonder how long it's going to take.
It might take some time.
It could be. Same thing.
I mean, it could be so long that it might the stock price could maybe go under 80. I mean, I don't know exactly how long it's going to take, and there's still some regulatory hurdles it's got to get over, so that's going to affect the price of this, both stocks, by the way. So I think, I'm not a buyer of Netflix right now, but it looks to me like this could still go lower. That is a lot of capital leaving the company.
Zach mentioning IDAI. This is another one that we talked about yesterday on Happy Hour in terms of adding to it. Zach, you think the 350 area is decent to add? I was saying yesterday on Happy Hour, 320 is what I would kind of like here. That's mostly because my first buy was at like 315, 318, and my second buy was in a two handle to lower my cost basis to 3. I since sold some at 430. I would love to be able to reload this. The thing that's going on here, Zach, I think if this does hold 350 here, this is pretty clear support. Pretty clear support from looking at this daily chart here. I would like it to confirm that. I still think that I'd be looking to add if it could really kind of get down to this area here. I've got that between 3 and 320. I don't know if we'll get it, but that's kind of what I'm looking for there. I still have half of my initial position.
I mean, I wouldn't be surprised if T-Stamp went down to the 200
I think that theme, that ID verification theme, I think that's going to be a long running theme. And I expect volatility in some of these names, in particular, the small cap names like IDAI. And I think my strategy here for trying to build a position is just to try to add it when it's weak, when the story is still intact. And that's kind of what I think we're seeing here right now. I'm excited that I'm going to try and trade this back and forth a little because, like I said, I think we're going to get some back and forth movement here. I'll try and lower my cost basis that way. So I am looking to add on that, but I'm not in a rush to do it today. Man, tea is good. I don't know what to say. Tea is good. Tea is good.
Why CBD needs more smoke. I mean, maybe. I mean, it's. So we just got our next candle. So this current one, I mean, could be a reversal candle. We just closed above the VWAP. So looking pretty good here with YCBD. That means that we might get some other marijuana names to also do well. MSOS not looking like that's ready to turn around yet. It is getting some support from the 200 EMA, but volume doesn't look that great to me.
Tesla call sweepers are back. Again, they're looking at this week's options here. A lot of those are short-term trades, although I do see one call sweep out there in January. Tesla moving up to the highs. Izzy looks like Amazon having a much better day today than it did yesterday as that thing continued to get pounded yesterday. Here's what it looks like. Sorry, we're basically right back to the pre-market highs. Let me go to SOC here because we've been waiting on the 9 print. There it goes. There it is. Should have gone a little sooner. Sorry, 13.
Okay. It's okay. We've been talking about it for a little while. Folks already know. You already know about it. SOC. So where does this one go now? Maybe there's resistance around 10 exactly. But if we do manage to get above that, I see the 65-day EMA at 1059. So that could be another resistance area if we blast through 10 on SOC.
Jane says, I went to Costco the other day. It was a zoo. Went to Sam's and it was a ghost town. That's been my experience too. I think Costco is, I know it's weak today. I still think Costco is an add-on weakness stock for the long term. Right. And by the way, Roush Stage 3 saying regarding SOC here, it was at 30. By early spring, I expect higher. You're looking for a triple from here by spring.
Okay.
If you get that, that would be great.
Let's see. After hours, you have that 939 level. We're making our way up to it right now. Maybe we hit it. When we hit it, we either create a cup with handle or we do a scalp and we blast through it and make our way up towards 10. We'll see what we end up getting here with SOC.
I think 840, 850 actually might be a decent buy spot if the stock pulls back and holds, to be quite honest.
you know, Jay, maybe these guys that aren't in the markets every day probably should just not do stuff like that. It doesn't seem like this is they're much better at running the companies they started. Well, in his case, not anymore, but he's much better at just fading off into existence.
ASTS is up by 8% here today. Looks like one of the directors bought some shares, only 715, but bought some shares yesterday at $70.
Big ol' reversal here on YCBD. I think the other marijuana names are also might be coming in. Maybe. But yeah, big.
Not CGC. CGC once again came back into its VWAP and tried to bounce. You guys are talking about PAVS.
Yeah, that one's trying to push into new session highs. Actually, I think we just made.
Was this the one that was split today?
If they had if this was the one that had the news, the halt, then yeah.
Yep, 1 for 100 reverse. It's up 47% split adjusted here today. This does look like it's going to try and test 3 though.
Well, this was the one that we were like, let's be careful. Maybe not trade this one. Nothing's really changed for me. I don't know what this is going to end up doing. Maybe we see the other side of 3. I don't know, but that's what's happening here with this one.
Really quickly here, let's see if I can get the name correct. Nataraja. Any trades you folks suggest, given Japan is increasing the interest rates tomorrow? Well, we don't suggest or recommend trades here, but that's just semantics. As far as the actual rate decision and how we're approaching that, I am not front running this trade at all. 13, I don't know if you are. I don't think so, but I'll let you speak for yourself. You're not?
No, I'm not front running it, but I do think that it'd be a good idea to be cautious with Bitcoin and cryptocurrency.
Okay. So there you go. My thought on this whole thing here is I'm going to wait and see. It seems to me from my poking through this is that the market is kind of anticipating a 25 basis point hike. And if we get any more than that, that might accelerate things. But generally speaking, looking through some of this, I'm not terribly concerned unless we get something that was kind of unforeseen. So I guess the long way of answering your question is I'm not putting any trade on prior to the decision, but depending on what happens, this will likely get reacted to tomorrow. And I think that our market is going to be looking at what takes place here later tonight. Is there any news on the MU move today? Yes. As a matter of fact, there is a little bit of news on MU here. They, of course, reported earnings, and then also multiple analysts raised their price target following the report. So here's what, look at this, 13. Are you ready for this? Looks like it's pulling back and trying to find support at 65 EMA.
How about that? Let's see if it ends up getting the support there. There's also a possibility of this, backfilling the gap it created last night. We've seen a lot of these tech stocks do that. So, post earnings. So just something to point out. If it comes down there, it looks like it could be caught by the 20-day SMA. But we'll see what happens.
Graph made good money today, not the usual pocket change. Let's go.
Nice.
Let's go. I'm actually doing well here today, but most of the gains are coming from open positions that I'm holding here. I can't believe that I'm so in the green on CGC. I guess I didn't expect that, but that'll work. And obviously Ondas. It's a delight to watch you folks daily. Helps me learn trading better. That's awesome. That's what we do here. I will say we were kind of talking about this a little bit earlier this week. It does sound like there are some changes coming to the show for next year. The big change, I think, is that it's going to be an hour shorter. So we're actually still going to go into the open, but we are going to end at 10 Eastern instead of 11 Eastern. I'm not worried about this because I still think we're going to be able to give you all of the valuable content that we need to give you prior to the open. I'm sure some of you are asking why. We were reminded that this show was designed to be a pre-market show. And because we, merged several shows together, we were going into the market time. The other thing is that that's actually when most of you leave. So I know that some of you end up sticking around for a while, but most of you end up leaving between that 10 and 11 o'clock hour. So I suspect that this is actually not going to be a really terrible change. And I also suspect that the YouTube algorithm will be better for us doing that. So, and also as a reminder, I see some of you not happy about us ending an hour earlier. Here's one more thing I would like to remind you. 13 and I and a lot of the community are available 24/7 in Benzinga Pro. So if this is absolutely something that you cannot go without, I highly advise at a minimum that you subscribe to Benzinga Pro Basic, which is fairly cheap, so that you have access to the chat room that runs 24/7.
Yeah, looks like we're getting a little bit of weakness here in some of these names. We did get a pullback here in PAVS, so there's that happening. What's that? You folks suggesting some of this feedback here for a 10:30 end, that would be better. I will copy that and I will submit that to the team. I believe me, I wish 13 and I were the kings around here and we've made all the decisions, but reality is that that's not the case. So. Yeah, you can try and hit me up at 2 a.m., but whether or not I respond is a different story. Eventually I will, but you might not get your response for several more hours. Sleeping is nice. But also on that, so you always lead with the bad stuff. Also on that, we are actually going to, and this is another thing I should mention. The other thing that we're going to do is we're going to try and increase some of the value around here. So also the week between Christmas and New Year's, so the 29th
through the 2nd, which also has the truncated market day on New Year's Eve and the closed market day on New Year's Day. There will not be content on the channel. We're actually not going to broadcast a show those 5 days. We will return with the new format on January 5th. One of the reasons that we're doing that is because the producer actually needs some time to make some of the changes to the stream here. So just FYI, sleep in and enjoy time with your family during that week after Christmas and containing New Year's. We'll be back on the 5th.
And it looks like a lot of these, Reddit's having a good day. I was just going to say, it looks like a lot of these cannabis names really coming back in now.
No, Edward, the Anne-Marie segment should not be. It'll just be at a different time. We should still be doing that. Same with the all access as well. So we're still going to be doing interviews. We're still going to be doing, we're going to try and segment this stuff so there can be a lot of consistency and a lot of clippable things in there. I will say, I do appreciate all of the love that you guys are saying. I know I talk about that all the time. But Graf, I wouldn't worry. I don't think it's going to be that bad. I really don't. I think it's going to be okay. Now we're starting to get King of the Hill references, so you guys can't be in too bad a shape, to be quite honest with you. Okay, let me get back down to some of the stocks here. SOC looks like it did pull off that 9. I'm still kind of watching a possible VWAP reload down here around 850. Take care of yourself, Brent. Good stuff here today.
Take care, Brent. Expecting Apple reversal from Tenzin. Live to Trade is trading Reddit.
You guys here, Sel is asking, does it get us into happy hour if you buy basic? Yes. So the whole thing with the happy hour is it's available to anybody that's in the Benzinga Pro ecosystem. So it doesn't matter what level of subscription you get, you will have access to it. The way that we've talked about this before, the way that you access it is there's a little like notification at the bottom that you can sign up for. So yes, you will absolutely have access to that program, even on the basic level. Absolutely.
And it seems like market really just fizzled out here pretty quick as far as the movers go, really.
Yeah, the movers do kind of seem to have slowed down, although I don't want to write off SOC yet, and I certainly don't want to write off those cannabis names yet. If we're getting this executive order signing later today, I think maybe that might spark up that theme. Okay, I was trying a little too hard there. But also, I'm wondering, I don't think all of this necessarily is going to be done for the day. And the other thing here is that the market is actually holding higher here at 678. So we're above that 50, we're above the 20, we're above all of that.
I could hear you thinking, should I finish this or should I not?
Finish what?
With the comment, the spark it higher.
Yeah, I was thinking about how to make it funny, and then I was like, maybe I shouldn't even make it. And I was like, now it's too late.
I committed. You committed.
I committed to it. Yeah.
Yeah, ATHA.
We saw the vision with the pun, Ryan.
Right.
Okay, as long as you saw the vision.
A lot of this stuff just, real sideways. Here's RGTZ finally getting to 2350. That was a pretty good move here today. Might back off from hitting this level. This has been a big supply zone or big resistance area for RGTZ. We'll see what ends up happening.
Thanks for all you guys do. You're more than welcome, Matt. Happy Festivus. A Festivus for the rest of us. Absolutely, Matt. Matt, do you have a trigger on gains? For example, making 10 or 20% within a week of the trade, or do you typically sell? So this is a really good question. The big caveat that I'll give right off the bat is that it really depends on the type of trade. If I'm trading one of these day trade stocks and I get 10% quick, I will absolutely take some gains there. I'm not holding for bigger gains than that. For swings, it's a little bit different. And for investments, it's considerably different. I mean, I'm often looking for triple digit gains when it comes to investments because two reasons. Number one, I have a long-term, very strong thesis, and these often take time to play out. I've also learned through the course of my career in the market here, your greatest asset as an investor and a trader is in fact time. Time is what allows you to buy something at $5 and then eventually at some point in the future sell it at 100. Time is the reason why the Apple position that I initiated for both me and my mom at like $92 has a cost basis of $20 now, because they held it for so long, it split and lowered the cost basis and gave you more shares. So time, to me, your most valuable asset as an investor. When you choose to day trade, you choose to give that away, right? You're trading on a short term here. So that's going to adjust a lot of the profit targets. Swing trades, I like to scale out of swing trades. This is what I've done on Ondas. When we started to get a big move, I started to sell some. That makes it easier for me to hold for those larger percentage gains that we're trying to go after, Matt. So I would say it really depends on the trade. And then there's tiers in there. I will absolutely sell a swing at 10 or 20%. Maybe only partial, though, depending on what the thesis is. Let me know if that's helpful at all. Zach, I don't have any links for you, but here's what you need to do. And for any of you folks that are interested in Benzinga at all, for anything, you really need to contact James. I'm going to put James is the one that deals with the onboarding. James is the one that deals with the deal making. James is the one that has all of that information handy. Reach out to him. I'm sure he can help you. And the other thing is, I'm sure he can help you find the best possible deal. I know we just had Black Friday, end of the year here. I'm sure they'll be able to help. Reach out to him. I don't have that handy here, Zach.
And look at RGTZ go.
RGTZ?
Yeah, this has been pretty great this morning. Went down to 21.11. It's now at it just hit 24.11. There's $3.
Boy, I tell you what, I should have been looking at these. Honestly, I was so excited from the bullish move here. You know what? Wasn't there a whole bunch of quantum upgrades recently? Like the whole quantum sector.
I don't know.
Let me go through the news. I'm pretty sure I'm not misremembering here, to quote Roger Clemens. Well, I can't look at the ETF news feed. I actually have to look at the equity itself. Come on. Wedbush initiates coverage on Rigetti with an outperform price target of 35.
Okay.
Jefferies sees $198 billion revenue potential by 2040 for quantum computing. There was more though. There was, yeah, it was Jefferies. It was Jefferies because they upgraded also some of the other ones. I think IONQ was on that list as well as QBTS.
Okay. I mean, I you know how I feel about quantum, and I think it's going to be here much sooner than people think. But these valuations for these companies just ridiculous. I don't agree with those price targets for Getty at all.
And by the way, the biggest one, or the most notable one, perhaps I should say, Jefferies initiating coverage on IONQ with a buy rating and announcing a price target of $100. The current price is $46.76, and this is after a 2% gain here today.
I guess we need something else to trade.
Well, I just think that this like quantum theme kind of got kicked up as a theme, and then going back to your Rigetti or to the RGTZ trade, probably should have had that on watch here. The quantum names traded up here this morning immediately showed weakness. This is the type of setup that you want for an RGTZ trade, 13, and you were all over it from the beginning here.
Yeah, I mean, we hit 24.50 in the after hours. We barely hit. We almost hit that in the at the end of the day yesterday. So that could give us a bit of an upside target to shoot for. I don't know that we'll see it, especially with this run that we just had. We're starting to weaken a little bit, but we're less than 50 cents away right here. So we'll see what happens. Everything else seems to be looking pretty weak. What is the SPY looking like right now?
SPY came back in 676, but it's still above that 50, isn't it?
I'm having
674 and change, I think is what it was.
Well, let me refresh here.
I got you.
My chart's not coming up.
Oh no, mine too. Oh no. Nope, oh nope. We got this is the data feed though. Hang on.
ATHA trying to turn back up. This might be trading up into a rising wedge, maybe. If that's the case, then this is probably going to have a pretty good fall at some point. AUR. Oh, that's not one we're looking at today. This is another one that I'm in. That's lower. MSOS. This is coming in. SOC. This looks like it's rolling over as well. All these names starting to come back in. ONDS about to lose 8. There's some support down at 8, but it's down there chewing through the buyers.
All right. I don't know. I must have just had a hiccup there, 13. Looks like all my different time frames are working. Let me know if they're working for you. Otherwise, I'll go ahead and alert the team. But get back. They're back. Okay. Yeah. To finish off what I was mentioning there, indeed, we did not recapture the 20, but we are still holding above the 50. So that 50 is going to be about 675 now, with the moving average ticking up with today's action. 678.35 is that 20. That's going to be one of those key levels we're looking for.
Yeah, it looks like it traded right up to that. Let's see, what is the high of today? 678.59. So that's just above the 20-day SMA, as you were pointing out, and also the previous all-time high of 678.47. That previous all-time high, that was previously support, and got a resistance in the 680 area, blasted through that level. I think several times on Tuesday we were trying to spend some time recapturing that. So 78.47, that previous all-time high, pretty strong level here.
Yeah. Okay. So 678.47 in addition to the 20-day. Okay. Mm-hmm.
Looks like some of the movers from this morning are trying to turn back up. We'll see what we get. Looks like MSOS is trying to turn around. Not sure about YCBD yet. That went right through the 200 EMA. DJT still coming down off of the 1450 session high. Looks like 1350 has a big seller in the way. So even if we are trying to recover, that guy that everybody has to deal with. ONDS still looks like this could go lower. It's getting some support from the 15 EMA on the 5-minute, but I'm not seeing enough volume. It looks like it's going to take it back up through VWAP yet. Looks like we're getting a little bit of backing off from RGTZ.
Sorry, I'm handling something here at work real quick. Oh, by the way, our poll and what the heck happened here? Why is it in my chart? It was just working a second ago. It was working on the other page. Oh, it is working. Okay, I just had to reload it. Our poll results are in. So 13, we talked about that immortality story earlier. I don't think you were here yet. We did put up a poll. If immortality were possible, would you choose it? No led the way with 36%. That's what I voted, by the way. Yes was second with 35%. And the third option, only if I could opt out later, which is very clever, 29%. I am a little bit surprised by these results, to be quite honest with you. This is basically an even distribution across the three choices. Very, very close to dead even. That's interesting to me.
I want to see what happens next. That's my justification.
Yeah, Crimp Biscuit, for those choosing immortality, be prepared to revoke your driver's license. Oh, well.
Why?
If you're because he's saying when you get really old, you probably shouldn't be driving. But I think here the amendment to that, Crimp Biscuit, is obviously if your senses are not deteriorating, if you're mentally sharp and your eyes and your ears and your motor functions work, perhaps that won't be required.
Yeah, I mean, if you're immortal, what does that mean? That you don't die, or that you also stop aging? Because if you stop aging, then you're not going to be physically impaired to operate a vehicle.
I will take this comment. Sorry to interrupt, 13.
That's okay. We're speculating.
Matt says, Ryan, thanks. I doubled down on CGC, Tilray, and GTBIF 2 weeks ago. I was going to do a tax loss sell on all three, and it backfired for a killing because now I have to pay a big gain. Well, if you're still in those, Matt, and you save them till January, that tax burden doesn't come till next year. You make the decision. That's not my choice. You do what you got to do. I have no idea about your situation, your risk, or your tax bracket, but that is an option that is available to you here with only, 10 days left in the year?
It's a nice problem to have.
Crankbait here says, I need to live long enough to see the Vikings win a Super Bowl. And that looks like why he chose to be immortal.
Ugh.
That's funny.
Yeah, I don't know if that's going to help.
Also, really quickly, one thing here. I was a bit sad the other day. For this upcoming weekend on one of my fantasy teams, I have the Bears defense, and they have done great for me this year, not just because of my fandom, because they've done great, but they're playing the Packers. And if you know anything about the Bears-Packers rivalry, you cannot rely on the defense to score a whole bunch of points when they play the Packers, because the Bears love to get their butt pounded by that team for whatever reason. So I had to drop the Bears defense yesterday, and the best option that I had to pick up was the Vikings defense. And yeah, when I'm looking at my ticket for this waiver ad, it shows me dropping Bears and picking up Vikings. That was a difficult thing for me to press confirm on. I'm not going to lie to you. It was very difficult for me to press confirm, but I did that. So Crankbait, just know I'm starting your Vikings defense instead of my Bears defense this weekend. 13, laugh all you want.
Hey, that's fine. You can confirm that all you want too, because that was something that certainly was happening. Hold on a second. I'm being distracted. Oh, sorry. I just had somebody at the door. Anyway.
Oh, okay.
Yeah, sorry. I forgot what I was going to say. I was distracted.
You're all good. I'm glad everything at your door is okay. I get distracted too sometimes. I look up at CNBC. Well, I won't even finish that. Vikings play the Giants. Good choice. See, Judge, I played the matchup. I'm trying to win. I'm actually in the playoffs in this league. I'm trying to win. I'm not just trying to be a super fan.
How long did you hover over the toilet after making that trade?
I didn't, thankfully. I immediately distracted myself with some college basketball and then took a phone call. So I was all right. But man, it was.
I could just see you hovering over.
I rethought my life for a bit.
You're hovering over places trade going. It was a great game.
You me too. You missed it. I went to go mute myself earlier today because I had to cough. And I hit the wrong button, which played the 1-up sound. And then I coughed without being muted, so they heard the cough too. And I was just like, you know what? You just butchered that completely. Ryan, who are you pulling for in the college football play? IU, baby. Who's yours? IU, man. That's where I went. Love that they beat down Ohio State. Oh, God, that game was so good. Immortality, then teleportation. That way you don't die after getting teleported. Izzy has enough of our conversation here. He wants to know what the chart on MU looks like. I'll go to the bigger chart here so we can actually chart that out.
Looks like we're getting some pullback after it hit. Did it almost go right up to some of the high areas from December 10th? It looks like it was pretty close. Didn't quite get up to the same highs, but that area in the 260s seems to be a pretty tough spot for Micron as of late.
Micron, so the chart here, very, very clear double top now. You might even consider this a triple top depending on where you draw your line, but that's going to be up to you. That resistance area, very, very clear, 263 to 264. The other thing notable here about Micron, kind of a nasty intraday move here, right? We dipped a little bit on profit taking. Then it looked like Micron was going to turn bullish. 2 attempts to try and go above that 262.5. Rejected. And now we've got the TLC effect. Waterfalls. Don't go chasing them. This is continuing to bleed down here today. So that Micron candle on the daily that this is making doesn't look all that great. Obviously, there's still some time to close here. Tell you what, a move down, a big pullback down to 235, I think that might spook people too.
Yeah, I mean, like I was saying earlier about this, we could see a gap fill that it was created by the earnings. So certainly not off the table for expectations. Looks like we're still getting some weakness in the marijuana names.
Market might be trying to trade back up to the highs. SPY's trying to get back up there.
Where's
don't
it
know
at?
if we're done yet here today. 670, 677, almost 678.
Well, let's see if it can clear the 20 and the 678.47 previous all-time high. That's the big resistance area, because if we start trading above that, then we're going to need to see a recapture of 680, which has been a support area going into this week, and then Tuesday and yesterday we're trading beneath it, open beneath that level, tried to recapture it, not happening. So 680 is a big resistance area that we need to get back above. We're going to see some more upside.
What was the price of SPY again?
Currently?
Yeah.
So it just hit 678.
There you go. 6.7, folks. Got him.
I said 678.
Yeah, 6.7. T8. I got it, but you still said 6.7. Get some. Get some. Take that. Take that. All right.
What does Ryan and a 12-year-old girl have in common?
I warned you. Don't answer that. I warned you that I was in a good mood here today. I'm in Christmas vibes flowing here, and I'm pounded with coffee. Lion here says we will end the year green. Yes, I think so too.
Relative to today or the all-time high in SPY?
Well, he didn't specify, which I think was part of the plan.
Okay.
Micron may be curling here. Jay, given the Micron's report and where it is on the chart, I know Lion said he likes Micron, says Micron's going to go up a lot over the years. I know Lion's got traditionally a more long-term view than some of the short-term stuff that we do here. Jay, what's your view on Micron? Is this safe to buy? Is this something where you really need to wait this out to get more of a discount on it? What are your thoughts there on Micron? Just out of curiosity.
Micron is getting some support right now and trying to turn around. I'm not sure that we're going to see a complete recovery. I think 250 could be a bit of a tough spot. We'll see what happens on this recovery here if it can recapture 250.
And H&H Tactical, what are your favorite energy and SaaS plays? Just out of curiosity, because I'm just a little preview here. I'm thinking that a theme that I'm going to look into, I had said before the beginning of 2025, one of the themes that I was into was going to be drones. I also talked a little bit about lithium, although I didn't do as much trading on that. And I also talked about cybersecurity, which was probably the theme or area that did not perform the best. The drone one was obviously the best performer there. One of my themes going into 2026, and I'm on this for sure, is energy. And so I'm curious to know what some of your favorite energy plays are. The SaaS angle, I'd like to know a little bit more about too.
I think, we talked about this before. I think we'd want to look at midstreams and crude storage because we are, nationally, this part of it has to do with the refinery shutting down on the West Coast, but nationally, we're going to see a reduction in the refining capacity. So I anticipate that with that, we're going to see, pipelines fuller for longer, maybe oil being stored for longer. Just some things that could end up happening as a result of the refineries closing down. But I also do like, the refinery names as well. I think they're going to be very busy. I don't think I like the exploration and drillers going into next year if we're going to have an oil glut. So I don't think I'd be looking at those. I think I'd be looking at refiners and storage for oil.
Okay,
that's where my head's at with that.
Good dividend payers as well. Yes, Voodoo.
Yes, they are.
Yes, Voodoo. And I'll tell you something. I've talked a lot about Starwood really being my favorite dividend player and all that. I'd love to add some more really good dividend payers to the portfolio that I'm trying to wait out on long trades. That also makes energy appealing. So that's actually a really good point, Voodoo.
Yeah, I do like natural gas. My whole thing is the turbines right now. I want the play that energy is going to be used for. Looks like some of these names are starting to come back up here. SOC on the return.
FCell, good mention here. Who is this? Chester, look at FCell breaking out of the top here.
Oh yeah, that's a nice formation.
Yeah, he had asked for a trend line. I'm not sure what trend line. Is there a longer one that we might be breaking here? Look at this. I'll be honest, man. I hope the bottom is put in because this chart is not the greatest. It's obviously reverse split calculated here. I don't necessarily see the trend line that you're asking for. I do see this formation here. This is definitely a bullish formation. Look what happened the last time we did this. We screamed higher.
Yeah, SOC is speaking of screaming. SOC is trying to do that very same thing. It looks like we're trying to push up back up to 930 again. I just was looking at Jay's comment about Micron. He's going to be wishy-washy. It's a tough call. I'm kind of on the same plane here. The pricing is very cyclical. DRAM pricing stays strong. We'll have to stay that way for several quarters for it to go higher. So one of the things is that they've kind of given up their consumer-facing business. I think in lieu of the AI data center play, I think this is the direction that we might end up seeing NVIDIA end up going, as the AI side is much more of a bigger business now than consumer graphics cards and consumer RAM. So I can understand that, and I think you're right about that. But I still think that this AI data center angle has a lot of room to grow, and it's going to be going on into the 2030s. So on that note, I think that Micron's, if you're going to be holding for that long, I think it's going to be great. But as far as entry goes, could still end up being lower from here.
DJT putting in another possible upside break spot here. This 1450 looks to be the area of interest there. This pulled back to the VWAP. Remember, trading vehicle on this one.
Cam, just the consumer side of GPUs, because and they may even spin off the business, but it's kind of where I'm thinking it might end up going, because look at all the headaches they've been dealing with their most recent RTX 50 series. I mean, it seems to me like they're way more focused on the AI side of the business, and if they're going to continue with GPUs, then at least we'll have something to build our rigs with. But I'm really thinking that either they're going to spin off or just reduce that side of their business going forward. That's just the way I see it for the time being. It might be wrong about that, but I think Micron's kind of giving you a little bit of a hint of what some of these other tech companies are going to do with their consumer-facing businesses. SPY breaking out. It is a heartbreaking take, unfortunately, and I wish it weren't the case, but I feel like we're just headed in this direction where we're just going to rent our compute and not own it. It might take a while, but that's just where we're it seems like that's where we're headed.
You let me know whatever I can do to fight that tooth and nail, 13, and the rest of the group. I don't want to go there. I don't want to go to that model.
I don't think it's ideal either. PAVs looking pretty good here. We just made a new session high. We didn't get as high as we did in the pre-market here, but this is the one that I'm not touching because I don't know what it's going to do here. It keeps looking like it's going to roll over, and then we get this move up higher. Just know what the risks are trading this. You'll be fine. Looks like we're getting a turnaround here in some of the cannabis names as well. MSauce. Never going to get tired of saying that. That held up above the 200 EMA. We spent multiple candles printing beneath it, but no closes beneath that 200 EMA. And now we're turning back up towards the VWAP. So far, looking good there.
Yeah, Jay, I'm with you. I totally agree. I'd rather play AI through energy, but it's not easy. It's not the easy way to do that. I'm with you on that, and I just think that's gonna be. I don't want to say it's going to be easier, but I just kind of like that angle a little bit more than some of the individual AI names. I would also say I would throw AI infrastructure on there, which is one of the reasons I'm still kind of looking at Oracle if it comes in a little bit more.
Yeah, there's a lot of different choices for all these different tech companies. When it comes to how we power all their equipment, there's only one thing that does, and that's electricity. So I'm very much interested in that side of the generation business for these data centers and basically for the grid, because we're going to need more power to the grid as well.
God, that's amazing. VIX yesterday in that sell-off top ticked 18 exactly. Today it's melted back down here 1624. 13, do you ever see the 1995 version of Mortal Kombat, the movie?
Oh, did I?
I watched it last night just because I was flipping back and forth between a hockey game and that. I haven't seen it in forever. I forgot how corny it was, but there was like a nostalgic happiness vibe that I had from watching that movie. It made me laugh. it made me laugh. Entertaining.
I said at the time that came out, and this is when I was a very young 13. I wasn't happy. I wasn't happy that it was an R-rated movie, because if you understand these games were highly controversial for their violence. And I thought that was one of the things that made it so appealing, was that we had Street Fighter previously, but there weren't finishing moves. Then you have basically Street Fighter with finishing moves. That's Mortal Kombat. The appeal goes way up, and then they make a movie where it's PG-13. I didn't like that. Yeah. I think they should have stuck true, but I get it, because they wanted to reach a larger audience. That's really what it came down to. I think they should have gone a little bit harder, more along the lines of the Mortal Kombat movies that you're going to start seeing now. We just had one recently. We're going to have a sequel to that. I think next year it's coming out with. Why can't I think of his name? He's in The Boys, but anyway, I wish they had come out with the more
SOC.
Yeah, more a little bit more closer to what the game was actually around.
All right, just kind of a random thought there. Random thoughts with Ryan on a Thursday.
But yes, I did see that movie long time ago, and I remember that if you turn the radio on, the theme song was playing all the time.
Oh yeah,
people were going crazy over that movie.
Oh yeah. Oh wow. Kerry Tagawa passed away a few weeks ago. He was the actor that played Shang Tsung. No, I didn't. That's man.
Yep, he passed away. He was in a lot of great stuff too. As a matter of fact, he was voice acting for Shang Tsung in one of the more recent Mortal Kombat games. So he was still very active in his older years. So very sad to see him pass away. That was a lot of attention that was paid to him in the gaming community.
One of my previous jobs, I worked for a company that would verify Rolex watches, and one of the people that worked in the building that I would travel to was either dating or with or married. I can't remember what the marital status was, but it was with the guy that actually did the acting for Scorpion back in the initial game. Here, let me hang on a second.
That was my
13 cover for me for a second.
You got it. Yeah, Scorpion was a guy that I always liked to play. I had friends, Sub-Zero, that was their guy. They liked his finishing move, and frankly, it was probably one of the better ones. But Scorpion was my guy. I always liked playing him. But yeah, that's thinking about it, that was great. Yeah, right. When I was a young 13. I was a PG-13. That's right. Parentally guided 13.
Really quickly here, 13. I don't think I've ever really shared this with anybody, but let me go ahead and show you this. I thought this was really cool. Wait, how do I? Let's do this. And
I'm over here now.
Okay, let's do this. So, the guy's name is Daniel Pacina, and he is a martial arts expert, and he did all of the martial arts for Scorpion, Sub-Zero, Reptile, and Smoke. All right. And so one day we were talking about this, and I was like, oh, that's so cool. I was like, that guy? That's like the coolest thing I ever heard. The next time I appeared back at the office, she had got one of those media pictures, got him to personalize it and sign it with "To Ryan, get over here."
That's awesome.
One of the coolest that I was blown away. It was completely random. It basically just came because we had a conversation about this. Absolutely blown away by this. The guy apparently is one of the nicest human beings in the world, despite being just a martial arts effing master. And I didn't even ask. They just did it for me. Just incredibly nice people. I will have a positive view on Mortal Kombat and the entire universe for the rest of my life because of those actions. So, okay. Sorry, trip into my personal life there. Sorry for the distraction, but thought that was really cool.
That's great. I mean, yeah, I agree with Cam. You should frame that.
I should. You guys are both right. I should actually do that. I'll do that for this Christmas season.
Above your gaming rig.
Thank you, producer, for getting back there. Yeah, actually, there would be a good spot right here. That would be pretty good for that.
Folks, we just decorated Ryan's room. That's what's happening. We're getting a nice recovery here in the market. We just absolutely blasted.
Oh, do we have news?
We just absolutely blasted through the 678.47 all-time high, and we are above 680 now.
Yeah. Oh my God. Breaking news. Market trades up on autograph to right. No, just kidding. It looks like there's actually no news that's driving this higher here. U.S. imposes sanctions on vessels linked to Iran. That's not what's doing it. This looks like this is just continuation from the CPI print here today. You know what, though? This has me wondering. So 13, we were just talking about some of those levels there, including that 50-day moving average. We're back above 680 now. I almost wonder what's next here. I think we've got the pre-market highs from yesterday are right at about 682. Here's what your daily looks like. This is what I was. So if we were to close right here, we would have recaptured the 20-day moving average, and we would have recaptured the downtrend that we recently installed. This to me looks really good if we're able to close above this.
So if you go to a 5-minute chart, to your point about the 681.50 area, that's where there's been a lot of topping out over the past few days, especially the past 2 days.
Which area? Sorry,
681.50.
681.50. Let me back this out a little bit.
Yeah, so have it so you can see like the past week. See how we were kind of holding that shelf there right at 682
and
681.50, and then we lost it, and then 680 was like the last support area, and we just went right down. Now we've come back up to 680, and we're trying to get through this whole supply area between 681 and 682. I think the first step for me, I want to see today, if we're going to be in recovery mode, let's just close above 680 at the least. Let's do that. Let's close above 680. That'll give us a nice. It should give us some nice upward momentum going into Friday. You still have the Bank of Japan rate decision, so don't know what's going to happen with that. But if this is the point where we do start to turn around the market, I do want to see a recaptured close above 680.
Okay, really good stuff there. 680, 681.50. Both of those should represent key levels here today. That's kind of is interesting. And you know what? That did come on a little bit of volume expansion too, to the upside there. So interesting. FFAI, I saw this that was on my scanner. I'm not necessarily sure why. I don't think there was any news for this. Nope. Wednesday. Had some news on that on Wednesday.
Yeah, don't ignore Amazon, particularly like the line is saying. Google.
We got Izzy. We ignore Amazon.
We're not going to ignore Izzy because he's telling us Amazon, so we know about Amazon. But this looking like it's having a really nice day. I, might run into some resistance around 28 to 29. That's kind of the next area of resistance I'm seeing here when I look to the left. We just moved over the 2780 area, which was providing some resistance on Monday. Haven't been back up here since Monday. So if we can close above this, and let's see if we can recapture some of the other levels from last week as well.
Let's see. There was something else I wanted to mention here. Lost my train of thought there. You guys are looking at app. Can you please look at the app chart?
Okay.
I'll tell you what, this probably one of the best short report buys of all of 2025. To Lion's point here, it has been a money printing machine on that. And look at this. We even had this potential head and shoulders that app just gave 2 middle fingers to and ripped higher. This actually looks like this might try this 7. What do we have up here? 725, 730 area. I mean, this thing. I think it's super bad every time I think we pull the stock up.
Oh, I know. We've joked about that a lot in happy hour. Yeah.
And Lion Yassine, you guys like this for more? I mean,
I'm just kind of making some measurements here. I want to get an idea of where this may end up going. I think I need to use a longer time frame to do that, because that was nice that we filled the gap from September and then just turned around and retire. So yeah, I think we're going to need to see a break over. I think this is it could have a big breakout over 750. The last time we were up there in September, we pushed up to just shy that level and then came right back in. I think the high print was 745.61. A little bit lower this last time, this past week. But if we continue to hold above, I would say 650, and I think we could get a big breakout over 750.
Okay, Yassine's got 715 as the target. Lion's still long from 300.
Oh wow, okay.
That's what I mean. This one really paid. Weren't we supposed to get a bear cave report today? Hang on a sec. Maybe we haven't got it yet.
PAVS new session high.
I literally Googled bear cave and Build-A-Bear came up.
That's what you wanted, right?
No. So, okay. So it looks like here, the one right on the top here is PTRN, and it's from December 4th. So no, I thought we were supposed to get one here today. Maybe we just haven't yet, or maybe it went out to subscribers or something first. I don't know. If that comes, I'll let you know. CGC, this is just going sideways. This is actually nice though. I'll tell you what, this still on deck for another move higher here. This building trading sideways above the VWAP on the back of all the what's going on here with the cannabis names. This one might go higher. CGC.
That does
have
adding
nice, to it here, just kind of holding it. Sorry, 13.
That has a really nice formation there.
Oh yeah.
And the momentum has been swinging to the downside. So I'd be waiting for the momentum to start to turn back up. I'm glad that this is already, the momentum already kind of swung downwards, because if we're still getting support from the VWAP and we start getting the momentum to swing the other direction, then I think that's pretty good for upside. Let's see if we end up getting that though. We got to continue to hold above VWAP in my opinion. And PAVS, the one that I'm not trading today, is still trying to climb up to the 396 high of the pre-market.
I'm waiting for a pullback 630, 650 on app.
Okay. So between the 20 and 50-day SMAs?
And a question here from Daniel, 13. What red flags did PAV give you that removed it from your radar?
I didn't know anything about it. It didn't seem like it was a great company, and the reverse split kind of put me on in a cautious mode because they need cash and they could do a capital raise at any time. So because it seems like to me they're going through all the motions of regaining compliance, and I haven't looked to see if that's the case. But when you start trading underneath the dollar, you're not meeting the minimum bid requirement. And you have some time before you can get back above there and be good. But they've been down there for a while. They had to go through a reverse split. That changed the share structure a bit, but at the same time, it also allows them to dilute the stock again with even more shares. And if you look at what this company was originally at, this used to be a $10,000, $12,000 stock because of that's because of the reverse splits. So I'd be careful. That's why I was wanted to be careful with this one, because I don't know when this capital raise is potentially coming.
Lion, I looked on the Bear Cave website and I didn't see anything yet. So I thought there was supposed to be one coming. There might still be. It just might not be out yet, but I didn't find a new one yet. I'll let you, if I find it, I'll let you know, of course.
Meanwhile, you have some of these other movers that are about to make some new session highs. SOC is right at the doorstep there.
I'll tell you what, Roush Stage 3 was on this one from the beginning here. This was some super strength here, yep. And maybe even a decent play into 2026. No position for me.
Oddly enough, DJT was also pretty good today.
Yeah, it sure was.
Still looking pretty good. I mean, we're trading up into what could be an ascending triangle here, and if that's the case, we should be anticipating a 1470 breakout. But we'll see what happens here, because we are past that time where volume begins to leave the market. So I don't know if we'll end up getting the move that I would think would happen with this formation. but we'll see. Just keep that in mind. We are past that time where volume does leave, but not PAVs. It's not leaving PAVs yet, apparently.
Amazon was good. Ondas, that's back at 8 here. PayPal, remember, did fill that gap a little bit. That's actually trying to hold up. Apple tried to fill that gap from the move down. Amazon, as we already kind of talked about, that was the strongest.
PAVs revenue is up 18,000%.
Yeah, IWM is strong here today. That should bode well for small caps. This chart here, IWM recently pulled back. I wonder if we could have multiple days of some good small cap environment. That would be awesome.
Now, is that that PAVs revenue figure, Wes? Is that based from the past report? Because this company used to, I see in the past, like in 2022, this company was making over 90 million. What happened? But at the same time, this is still loses money. It's not profitable, so it's going to have to raise capital. I mean, it's great that it had 18,000% increase in revenue over, I guess, the last earnings report, but they don't have any cash and they lose money. So, yeah, I this was erring on the side of caution. I was wrong. I mean, it looks like it's been a great trade today. So wrong about that, but I had other things to trade. I still made money, so I'm happy.
I believe that was the consensus that we came up with. What's wrong with me here?
Yeah,
I believe that was the consensus that we came up with. It seems like there were better things to trade here.
Yeah, and it's only now just getting up here when no one else is looking at it. Meanwhile, all the other stuff we were trading had gone on a move and already came back in. Just it just wasn't for me. I just didn't want to start trading something that I know they're going to have to raise money somehow, and we could see that as early as today.
Gold traded with that CPI print. Gold went up at the same time as the CPI. Really, gold needs to move through the 400 level to take the next leg higher. I think 403.30 was the actual high there on gold for that to keep going. I feel like I don't have to trade gold because any actual gold that I own continues to be worth more for me just holding it. So that's kind of the way I look at that. The scanner really has kind of dried up for me here. And I'll be honest, I did not see anything terribly great on the options today either. I was kind of thinking we might see that there, but nothing. Carvana, this one, I guess, kind of interesting. This one recent. 455 call for January, a weekly contract, January of 2026. Trader spent 1.44 million. Person wonders if that's closing it a little bit early after this big move.
I see that we were talking about with they filed for a 200 million mixed securities shelf, but when I look at their secondary offerings, I don't see anything as being raised yet. So that filing could still just be out there, and they're just waiting, until after the reverse split. So I don't think I don't see that they've raised that money yet. They filed to do that, but I don't think they've actually sold the shares. I might be wrong, but I don't see anything and that says that they've done that. And the secondary offerings doesn't have any indication that they've raised that capital yet. So,
Ed, thank you. Thank you for the kind words. Have a great one.
Take care. Silver to the moon. I'm there with you. I'm there with you. Silver to the moon. Let's go. Cannabis names still looking like they're trying to recover, but mostly going sideways. DJT's also a little bit sideways. SOC recently just put in a slightly new session high, backing off now. Looks like a lot of stuff is starting to back off a little bit.
Look at Lululemon. Lululemon, that just traded up all pre-market, came back in and looks like it held 220 here. What do I think? We have 228 as the 200 day. Let me go ahead and check that real quick. Tell you what, Anne-Marie giving out, just giving out gems. That Lulu trade she gave out, I think it's like 300% here today. She gave that out a week ago. Here's Lulu, daily chart. What do we got for the 200 day? 228. I was right. 8 more points. Would love a recapture there on Lulu. Michael Burry also likes Lulu here. The Barry Burry likes Lululemon.
The Barry Burry.
He called himself that. I'm not even poking fun at him.
So Lululemon is moving up on that Elliott management position.
Yeah, big stake by Elliott. Rooster, take care of yourself. Really good stuff. Glad y'all had a great day. Seems like a great day all around here for the group. We'll take that. We'll take that every day we can.
Absolutely. It has been a really good morning. Absolutely. Let's see if we can get a continuation of that into the afternoon once we get some clarity on when we're getting that rescheduling signed or addressed. Maybe he doesn't even sign it. Maybe it's just more of some more talking about it. Not going to take that on the table.
I'm just glad to listen to rumors about that instead of war with Venezuela today. I'll be honest with you. That to me is an absolute relief that we're coming back down to some more sensible things.
Take care, Lion. Take care, Rooster.
Christoph says CGC on the hourly looks bearish. Okay, so you think that might come back in. Take care of yourself, Lion. Anyone else that's leaving here?
If you lose the VWAP, I would think that maybe we are going to come back in. But so far we're okay. Well, we just went beneath it now.
Chipotle, apparently, I'm just seeing this for the first time on CNBC. Chipotle has a new GLP-1 friendly menu.
Man, that was one of the greatest calls I had when we were starting to talk about this GLP-1 like 3 or 4 years ago. Remember when we were talking about this in happy hour? That we were going to start to see I was saying if more of this gets traction, more people are going to be on GLP-1s, then you're going to probably see a lot of restaurants that are going to have GLP, Ozempic menus. It could be great for restaurants because they could just make smaller portion sizes,
higher margins,
but exactly higher margins, not really bring the price down by half, but maybe like a third, and that improves margins. So I thought that was like a margin boon for restaurants doing these Ozempic menus.
If I recall, I was kind of wishy-washy, to use Jay's term from earlier today. I was kind of wishy-washy on that call 13. And here we are just a couple of years later, and it's exactly what's happened.
Yeah,
that was a really good call. Really good call.
So I think that the more that restaurants start to do that, you might see some. I don't know if this is going to happen for sure, but it's what I'm looking for. If I'm right about this whole thing, we're going to see margin improvement in the restaurants that actually adopt some Ozempic menus or GLP-1 menus. So something I'm watching for to see if that's correct. So far,
Trevor says just throw Ozempic right into the burrito bowl and you're
there.
Good.
There you go.
Yeah, and Tara, I absolutely agree with you on. I mean, I don't know. I can't recall a day where I did more just shaking of my head. Like I'm reading through some of the stuff on X, and I'm like, are you guys like I know cannabis names are running, but honest to God, like what are you actually smoking? Like what on earth is going on here? I would much rather read rumors and back and forths about weed being legalized via an executive order than war with today's going to be a better day, Tara. I'll leave it at that.
Let's airdrop some pre-rolls down to these hot spots, and maybe they can all just make up and smoke together.
Where is this happening? 13? I'm just kidding.
What Shady, you're saying I should avoid trading paper? You mean like paper assets like these, like stocks, or what are you getting at? Calorie deficits and exercise, folks. Yeah, there you go. Absolutely.
That's what I do. That's why fasting has been great for me, and I try to exercise every single day.
Just kind of waiting for some of these other names to do something. It looks like cannabis is out of favor for the moment as far as a trade goes.
I'm looking around here to see if there's anything else interesting. Still that 680. SPY basically went right to 680 and stopped. The breadth looks good. It's green across the board, but Amazon's still near the highs. Apple closed that gap down.
Yeah, exactly, Cam. That's what I'm thinking. The anti-war drug. There you go. Take care, Kevin.
Kathy says GLP-1 drug side effects are like bad toupees. You only notice the bad ones.
Ozempic face, I think, is one of the terms. I was interested. I was surprised, I guess partially surprised, when we were getting reports about an increase in fertility rates as a result of Ozempic and GLP-1 use. The whole thing was that if when you were taking these, it changed your metabolism a little bit better for the better, and because you're becoming more healthy. So because you're losing all that weight, so that increases fertility. What's that?
I'm sorry. I was listening to you, but then I read Jay's comment. Shaq's up 5 points today. Are they making a GLP-1 shake? Oh man!
I'll take a large chocolate Ozempic.
I could have gone about my day without even thinking that, but here we are. All right, 13. The day went fast. I know I was kind of goofy and loopy here. I got news for you though. That's probably going to continue as we get closer and closer to Christmas. 13. Yep. Any closing words for the group here today?
Another fun day, everybody. Looks like we got some nice upside with some of these earnings reports, and the whole sentiment around marijuana and that being rescheduled. So we'll see what we end up getting here the rest of the day. If we end up getting that signature, or just more talk about it. But until then, have a great rest of your day, folks. I'll see you tomorrow. Goodbye.
All right, 13. Good job as you always do here. We're done here for today, folks, but we'll be back at this tomorrow to close the week out strong. We'll see what happens with the executive order signing, and perhaps more importantly than that, the Bank of Japan. Enjoy the rest of your Thursday. Stay green, stay safe, stay focused. We will see